All right, who's ready for the Dirt Life Show?
Yeah. What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 34 of the Dirt Life Show. We are really excited to have you guys here tonight. Pumped as always. This little dang show just keeps trucking, man. It's pretty cool. In studio tonight, I got co-host extraordinaire Casey Peck. What's going on, dude?
What's happening?
How's things going?
All right, you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Good. So I always forget to mention my name. I'm Georgie Hamill, and we are very excited to have everybody here with us tonight on this quarantine Monday. This is just like, it's still so crazy to me, all this freaking madness in the world.
It's insane. We were just talking about the kids at home, and they're just being zombies.
I wonder if a lot of families are having that.
I don't know. It's like, come on, let's go for a bike ride or something, right?
Yeah, get out and do something.
But then people are looking at you.
I know. Like, I went on a bike ride the other day, and people were looking at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
But they were riding their bikes too. So it's like, I have a problem for riding my bike, but they don't. You know what I mean?
Right. They're just looking like this.
Yeah. Exactly. Don't sneeze over here.
Right.
So, so thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate it. The Dirt Life Show is always wanting more interaction from you guys. You guys are the lifeblood of the show, so always chime in. We got John chiming in. What's up, guys? What's up, John? How are you doing on Monday? So chime in. Comment on Facebook. Comment on YouTube. You can always watch us. If you're listening to us on the archives, you can watch us live on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time on our YouTube channel, The Dirt Life Show, and on Facebook at The Dirt Life Show. And you can always contact us anytime you want on our social media platforms. The Dirt Life Show on Instagram is the best way to do that. So hit us up and let us know what you think. We just did a live Instagram feed with the guys over at KMC Wheels, Ryan Edwards over there. That was pretty fun. It's cool to see what those companies are doing, like, in all this, you know. Mm-hmm. He was saying that, he was trying to get out and ride, but in California they shut down a bunch of riding areas and stuff, like you can't get in. So they just got a skid steer and went and built a mini bike track at his buddy's house.
Did they?
Yeah. So got to get creative sometimes, right?
Yeah. So Scuba Steve Westfall, did you see him this week all bummed out? They've closed all the openings and landings to the lake, so you can't get your boat in and you can't.
So what's he doing then?
He's just like, I just want to go fishing.
I
don't know. I think he's going insane.
Is he able to go fishing at all then?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Can you just like swim out there and do it, or like?
I just thought about building. You said the guys went and built their own track. It's like maybe he could go
build his own ramp.
Yeah, throw some stuff into the pool or something.
Dude, for real. Thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. You can always check us out on any of the archive networks like iTunes or Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all those places, and you can listen to us while you're driving down the street. So. Well, before we talk about our subjects tonight, let's thank the sponsors. Thank you very much, obviously, to Zollinger Racing Products. Those guys have been awesome since we started the show. We still have this thing we got to talk about it at some point. They make awesome stuff. Their headquarters are in Nibley, Utah, and they make everything there. So it's all made in the United States. So they make tie rods, radius rods, all kinds of bitchin' stuff for your side-by-side. So go check them out. You can use the code DIRTLIFE on their website to save a whole bunch of money. So definitely do that. Or you can give them a call and tell them that the Dirt Life Show sent you. Thank you to the guys at Rugged Radios for always supporting us, too. They gave us some radios that we're going to give away. We're going to do a social media contest, but we're not going to do it for the next few days here, maybe even next week. But pay attention to that. Use the code DIRTLIFE on the Rugged Radios website, and you can save a whole bunch of money there. I was thinking about doing like a commercial or something with the radios, like, since we're all quarantined, we could talk to each other from across the street or something.
There you go.
I think that would be pretty fun.
From the supermarket?
Yeah, something like that. What do you need?
Yeah.
See how far those radios can go. The Rugged Radios guys are awesome, man. They make really good products. I saw a post that they had dirt bike stuff too.
Oh, yeah?
So they have a little clip that you can put the radio on, and then you can talk to all the side-by-sides and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so I thought that would be pretty cool. So thank you to them. Thank you to the guys at Solderweld for always supporting us. Lance over there, he's got an awesome product. He's got the off-road repair kit. Pick one of those up. Those things are bitchin', man. They're like an emergency pack or first aid kit for your UTV or your Jeep, whatever, overlanding. We know Chris Ridgway does that in his van. So that's pretty cool. And thank you to the guys at Shock Therapy. Those guys always have our back. We did a bunch of Instagram live and video stuff with those guys. And if you want to save a bunch of money with them, use the code DIRTLIFE over there or tell them that the Dirt Life sent you. We've already sent over a whole bunch of people over there to get their suspension done, and they've been pretty stoked. We're going to do something with them on April 22nd, installing the first kit of what's called IQS system on Fox shocks for a Yamaha YXZ. So we're going to videotape it, the customer dropping off his car. His name's Jeff Angel. He's got a really awesome Yamaha YXZ that I can't wait to see what that thing is. So he'll have a button that he can control the stiffness of the shocks.
Nice.
Yeah, so it'll be pretty cool, man. So I can't wait to get the content and release that. So that'll be pretty sweet, man. So thank you to all our sponsors. Again, thank you very much to all you guys for chiming in and watching the show. We love you guys very much and always want you guys to interact with us as much as possible, too. We have our YouTube. It's been growing a little bit, so definitely get on there too. I know you guys like the Facebook stuff because it's easy, but definitely check out the YouTube channel too. And there's always archives on YouTube as well. So a couple things that I want to talk about, Casey, first of all, was your hair's looking pretty nice, dude, but I haven't been able to get a haircut yet.
It's funny you say that. I was expecting you to say, what is up with your shirt? And I was going to say, I'm trying to take attention away from my free haircut.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, Kristen, Ray's wife, Kristen Penske, did it for me.
Really?
And I was like, high five.
Maybe you shouldn't have told me that because now I'm going to be bugging Ray and Kristen to get that.
Yep.
Dude. Yeah, so getting a haircut these days is not easy.
It's not.
And I was thinking about shaving my head, and I was like, man, I don't really want the top shaved, so I don't know what to do.
You can always just start over at least.
Yeah, I guess. At least it's not a girl haircut.
Right.
So
right.
What are the girls doing?
Like fixing the garden. Just till it all up, start over. It's kind of at least we have that.
What are the girls doing
luxury.
in your family then?
They're not. They're just
letting it go.
Yeah.
I guess that's all right though. Yeah. So you guys should chime in and tell us what you guys are doing with for haircuts and stuff.
So how do we do a Zoom? Since that's the new thing, right?
Yeah.
It's actually pretty smart.
A Zoom
working
haircut?
I don't think anybody knew Zoom until they had to use it.
We actually use it a lot for the past few years.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe us out of the
computer world.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. How can we get some professional to do Zoom and like mirror? I don't know. There has to be a way to do it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
A Zoom haircut? Yeah. I would be down to try it. Jeff is Jeff Angel, just the guy that we were talking about for the YXZ, he just chimed in and said, hair salons are still open. Hey, I don't know, dude. There's a lot of them that are closed down here by us. So we can't get our grooming on, man. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, all the barbershops said it was like 2 weeks ago. There was like one last day, and everybody I knew was like, I got to go today, otherwise I'm not doing it.
Oh, I didn't even get the memo for that.
And it was too late for me. I'm like, whatever. I can't do it.
Dude, by the way, I do like your shirt, though.
Oh, thanks.
Looks nice. Lacrecia just chimed in. Hi, Lacrecia. It's good to see you guys all chiming in right now. So the main topic that I wanted to talk about today was something that I saw online, and a few people brought it up. I think Joey D from Four Wheel Parts brought it up, and a few other people, too. And I wanted to ask one of the guys that's going to call in tonight, Brett Carpenter, and see what he said, too. But you know what ROI is, return on investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So since a lot of people aren't racing or doing what they would normally do, maybe it's freestyle motocross or whether it's racing supercross or side-by-sides or monster trucks, I don't know, whatever it is, nobody can do any of that. So what are they doing to give back to their sponsors and stuff like that? Like, do you know anybody in the RC world that's coming up with creative ideas to give back?
Yeah, absolutely. So Adam Drake is, I mean, he's one of the big names in that industry, anyways, and probably one of the most guy that gives it back. And he's all over it right now, and I think people are starting to figure it out
and take a look at what he's doing and do it themselves.
And he's always been.
What's some of the stuff that he's doing?
He's a humble guy, and he's always been, like I said, one to give back and show everybody. He doesn't have any. There's no secrets. Right. He's got a lot of things he's learned along the years or along the way, but to help the normal guy or gal get it figured out, he's totally open for it, and he always is at the race, at the track anyway. So he picks a subject, and then he goes, so he's fully in depth in it. And he's putting out a video like every day, pretty much.
So he's captivating his audience by giving them what they want to hear.
Totally, and it's the cool thing is he obviously has plenty of companies and people that he represents, but not just that. Like he's going into here's how you would do X, Y, and Z with whatever you. Well,
let's try.
Awesome.
Let's try and reverse engineer all that then for return on the investment value.
Right.
So you have a bunch of people that are interested in your program. Mm-hmm. So in his case, there's let's just say 5 sponsors, and those sponsors don't have a way to showcase him at the races. So now he's doing let's just say instructional videos or how-tos or getting people involved in the content that he's producing, and he's showcasing all of their products while he does it. So maybe a tire company, an RC car, or an engine company or something like that.
Yep, absolutely. All the above.
Dude, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and he's always been that way. I think he's pretty much the first one to be that way and be an open book. But at the same time, he can do it to where...
well, right now, everybody's sitting at home jacking around. So
right, but here's what's really cool about it is you don't see one of his videos and think, oh, he's a Mugen Seiki guy. I'm not interested because I'm a whatever guy.
Which is a brand, right?
Yeah, a brand. Right, it would be like a Ford Chevy thing or whatever. You watch it because you know that even though he's doing it to that vehicle, you could apply it to your vehicle, and then in turn you're getting exposure to his brands. It's like he's just smart about it.
That is really a good idea.
Right. So he's very generous in what he's doing, but it's highlighting the person he is, the people he represents. But then it's also just helping the industry, period.
So I could think of a really, really good topic off the top of my head. So I was at the Works races a month ago, 6 weeks, whatever it is. I don't even know what day it is. But
Day.
So, yeah, exactly.
Day.
That thing that you were talking about. Yeah. So instead of having days of the week, it's just called day.
Just day.
Well, Caden Danbury, he's going to call us in a little bit here. He is a side-by-side racer, young kid, and he lost his motor at the last race. So him and his family are going to have to obviously repair the car. I don't know if they've already done this, but let's just say that he still hasn't repaired it or fixed it, or he needs to do some more prep. He should just film the whole thing and then post it online.
Right.
Maybe do some, little cuts and stuff here and there. Do some stories about it. That would be really, really valuable because then he's showing the ins and outs of everything.
Absolutely. Especially when you're him and whoever's working with him on it, they're obviously skilled at it, so people would want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not just like there's plenty of YouTube videos out there about Backyard Bob who just decides to change his own belt one day, right? We've seen some of those too, and they're hilarious. They don't even know what tools they're using.
Exactly, but they're still doing it.
Right, but then these guys, because they're actually walking the walk at the racetrack, like they're actually racing, they're doing something maybe a little more advanced than the regular Weekend Warrior guy.
You know what's cool about that, though? Like, okay, so let's just say we use that same, Bob, or we'll use Caden as an example, and we'll keep on that same subject. So let's just say Caden has 20 competitors, right?
Right.
And they're all his enemies on the track.
Right.
I guarantee you they're all going to still watch.
Oh, guaranteed.
And all the people that like him are still going to watch, and all of the sponsors that he has are going to watch. Like, that's going to be really...
And that's what I'm saying about Adam. There's plenty of haters in the industry for
But they all still join?
But they all somehow have something to say, which means they only could have seen it if they watched it.
Makes total sense,
So,
dude.
really... He's winning, right? He's winning.
He's double winning.
He's winning the industry the way I see it.
That is really cool. Sarah Danbury said she just chimed in and said they're here. So, all right, Sarah, well, we used your son as a topic of discussion right now, so thank you for letting us do that. And then Jeff Engel said, Chris Heighton, hey, buddy. We definitely miss you, Chris. Hope you're doing well, man. I talked to Chris the other day about some sim racing. Have you seen how that's blowing up?
I have noticed that.
Yeah.
With lots of big names, too.
Yeah, it's really blowing up.
It's pretty cool.
And it's kind of cool because you can get companies to sponsor the sim racing, too.
Really?
So, yeah. So let's just say, like, I don't know if they have RC sim racing, but if you have, I don't know, let's just say KMC Wheels, since I did an Instagram Live with Ryan earlier, KMC Wheels could be a sponsor of this show, could be a sponsor of, let's just say, your racing program, and then also a sim racing program.
Sure, and that's a perfect way to go ROI.
Exactly.
even though it's in a virtual sense or world, we'll call it.
Honestly, more people show up to that. Than
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
And plus, you can see it the whole time, right? Like you can watch the whole video, and if you're desert racing per se, like you get to see cars just pass by.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like short course where you can watch the track.
Sure.
And stuff.
Can I be the virtual promoter?
Yeah. Get all the money. So there are virtual promoters.
Put on the races and put on the advertising.
I don't know how you'd make money at that though.
Yeah,
there's got to be a way. So there's all kinds of creative stuff that you can do, and we'll ask Brett Carpenter when he comes on and see what he has to say. But I think the kids would be the best people to answer these questions or to come up with the fresh ideas because, well, as adults, we're all stale, right? But they would come up with some really, really fun ways to be interactive. And it doesn't just have to be with your racing program.
Right.
Like the other day, I just posted some things on my Instagram story of a Gila monster that decided to come over here. And there was so many people that chimed in that were wondering what it was if they didn't know it, or they're like, oh, they do this and they do that. And people were going crazy because he scaled the wall at my house.
I know, that was gnarly.
It was so crazy. I've never seen him do it. But so people were going nuts for just that. And what it does is it makes people understand that the person that's the race car driver is just a real dude. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I was just going to say, is that most people just want to see a human being a human, right? It takes it to the level, even though you're a superstar in your own right, whatever that field is. Well, it's still a person.
Yeah, exactly. So if you saw Jeremy McGrath or Michael Jordan or somebody, right, and you saw them putting on their pants one leg at a time, right, like you'd be like, oh wow, they're the same as me.
How much milk do they put in their cereal?
Exactly.
Do they like it full or do they like it a little dry? You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of things.
What toppings do they like on their pizza?
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
It really is.
Totally.
It makes total sense too. And then it's funny because those videos, like that stupid little video of me putting a Gila monster on there, got way more interaction than most people. And funny, somebody actually gave it a nickname and called it Godzilla.
I almost called you to say, hey, you remember that those things are mean, right?
Yeah, well, they're mean, they're poisonous, and they're extinct, so you're not allowed to touch them.
That's true.
Or endangered, so you're not allowed to touch them.
I figured you're a big boy, you knew, but when I saw that, I went, how bad would this be if it was like, it went nuts. Have you seen them run when they're mad or scared?
Yeah, this guy was so tired though.
Okay.
There was one person that chimed in.
He just had tacos.
Yeah, it was so funny. They're like, yeah, he's probably just over being quarantined at home with his family, so he just dipped out. Nice. And I was like, he looked tired, so he must have just chilled and just waited for. Waited to be able to take a nap, and then he just scaled the wall, just hanging out. Well, let's get back on the ROI subject. We got Brett Carpenter on the line. Can you hear us, bud?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on, dude?
Brett?
Not too much. How you guys doing?
You got Casey and George on the line. We're doing pretty good, man.
Nice. Who else is on the line?
My co-host, Casey Peck.
Oh, nice. How's it going, Casey?
Good. Yourself?
Good, thanks.
Awesome.
You guys have good Easter?
Awesome. We did. And you?
Yeah, not bad. As good as could be, right? All things considered, it's great to just spend time with the immediate family, and did some virtual calls with the rest of the family, but it was good. It was relaxing and pretty quiet, but overall can't complain.
Yeah, I agree with that. We all definitely had a relaxing Easter from in our world over here too. So
no doubt.
We were talking about earlier, just on the show, just a couple minutes ago, about return on investment for sponsors. Like, since there's no racing or, well, anything going on, there's no freestyle motocross, there's nothing going on right now. And since you're so, obviously in that work every day, what are you dealing with some of the racers and some of the teams and stuff like that to be able to help them provide a better return on the investment to you guys?
That's a good question. I think that's a good question for everybody, and I don't know if there's any real right answer to it, but I think the biggest thing is just staying active, just recognizing that when your sole purpose is racing, and you've got contracts that require you to race and put up results, and that's what your sponsor is looking for, and then something like this, totally unforeseen, happens, something that nobody could have predicted. I think the biggest thing is just really staying active, and and getting creative. Like I said, I don't think there's any right answer, but it's certainly not the time to be sitting around. It's as creative as you can get out, social distancing permitting, and trying to, just create some content, whether it's things in, it could be little things in your garage, just little things with your vehicle, getting creative on some how-to videos, or, just trying to speak to your audience and using your sponsors as points of reference to the topic of discussion, and just creating small bits of content, I think is the go-to, probably a good idea to reach out and unless your sponsors have already reached out to you, which I would imagine a lot of them have in this weird circumstance, but reach out and see what there is that you can do. Maybe there's certain things that a pivot that you can make where it's like, okay, I was supposed to race X, Y, and Z, and now obviously that's not happening. But reach out and just communicate with your sponsors and let them know that you're available. And there may be certain things they'd like for you to do, and it all goes back to, like we talked about the first time I was on your show, just a little bit of communication can go a long way. So 100%. Recognizing a really bizarre scenario, and working with your sponsor much closer to see what you can do to fill the void,
So there's a couple things that I got from that was like, the first thing reminded me of something that you said on the show a while ago. So, and anybody that hasn't looked at that show, go back in our archives. I think it was show 2 or 3, and check out Brett's show, because it was really, really good when he worked for Rigid. Ask questions. So if you don't know what content to put out there, and first of all, before we even say this, we're lucky that social media exists right now. Because if this was absolutely 10, 20 years ago and we didn't have all of the availability to do this, people would just be getting clipped left and right. Like, there's just no way. There's just no way. So that is really, really positive for especially the kids nowadays too. And so what I was going to say is ask questions. So if you have 5 sponsors, call all of them. Set up a time to have a 5-minute call with them and say, what can I do to help you guys right now? I can promise you that all of these companies have already had a meeting about what they're going to do to either promote or cut.
Right.
So once you know those two things, you want to be on the promote talk. So you want to go out there and make sure that you're doing whatever you can do to be a good person for the companies.
And like Brett said, it's cool to see, a number of people being creative, because it just shows their dedication and their, their thankfulness to be sponsored or to be part of an organization, if they're going that extra mile.
Yeah. You bring up a really good point though, because, there's going to be a time where, I'm not saying myself in general, but like just sponsors across the board at some point this year are going to have to look back and evaluate, right? Like, again, this is a time that nobody could have predicted.
Right.
And because of that, sorry, my little guy.
Your coworker?
Because of that, my intern just barged in. But there's going to be a time where sponsors look at their rosters and their spreadsheets and their charts and all of these things that they use to track and measure the return on all of their investments. And they're going to look at the things and see who went the extra mile during a tough time, to see who went to bat for them during a tough time. And the reality is not everybody is will have done that. And that's safe to say. Another point I wanted to make was, Joey D has a great thread that he posts in his UTV Facebook page every Sunday.
That's what triggered this discussion.
The most recent one was this exact topic, and there's some really, really valuable information in there. It's not a long read, but I'd recommend everybody join that group and go check that thread out, because it's spot on. It's just a reality that you got to stay creative. You got to stay relevant. You got to just put in a little bit of effort during a tough time like this to be able to maintain those sponsors and those relationships, because at the end of the day, the racer has to answer to the sponsor as much as they may not like that.
Yeah, just like an employee would have to answer to their boss.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's, we're all buds. It's a big family, but really, at the end of the day, it's still a business. And when something this severe, takes place, you got to look and see who went to bat for you,
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
No doubt.
That's a good transition. We had a comment come in that said he's rocking the neighbor's floatable or the good old cereal bowl.
The Floby.
Oh, Floby. Yeah. That's
the vacuum
for the
haircut
haircuts. Yeah. So one of the things, that's a good transition for us to start talking about somebody that does a good job in her sponsorship and her program is Lacrecia. She's going to be our featured guest tonight, and that's one of the reasons that we wanted to have you call in is because, well, first of all, everybody loves the Rockstar Customz team.
They're awesome. Yep, Lacrecia is awesome. I'm glad that they're on the show. I know they just went out and raced the Mint 400 not too long ago, and had a solid finish. They, I believe they were in the unlimited class, if I remember correctly, but they're just such a solid family. They obviously been through a lot, and it's great to have Lacrecia and her family, her husband and everybody that's a part of that team, her son. They have them representing Polaris is a great thing, and we truly feel that they are part of the family. And it's great to still see them racing despite what they went through, the challenges. I'm sure she'll get into that, but to see them still out there racing and I mean, she's smile on her face all the time. Doesn't seem like much phases them. They just keep on trucking, and it's so great to see.
Such hard workers. Yeah. When she told us that, all that stuff happened and we saw that, they could use whatever help they could, we were able to give them a lot of stuff from our shop, and her and Trevor and Eric came down and picked up a whole bunch of fabrication tools and just different things like that to get back on track. So that was really, really cool. Yep. And you know what, like stuff like that, and we'll get into what you guys did as well, but stuff like that, it's not just to help them. Like it helps us too. Like when they left, I felt like we were really doing something good. You know what I mean? Because we're putting them back on the right track. And I was telling Casey a funny story too. Trevor got to come over and ride my little CRF 110 mini bike, and he just like fell in love with it. He's like, yeah, sweet.
They're just good people all around. And, it's just good to see them still out there racing, and they've been around for a long time. They are truly some of the OGs of UTV racing, and it's awesome to see.
100%. And you guys were really cool as well and instrumental in their program to get back to the Mint 400 because you and Polaris went over to their house and dropped off a car for them, which I thought was amazing, man. That was really, really cool to see them have that opportunity to get back out there.
Yeah, that was a cool deal. I was fortunate enough to just be the guy that got to drop it off and go meet with them over in Havasu. That was really rewarding for me. But I mean, she's been a part of Polaris for a lot longer than I have. So those conversations started a while back, and once I came on board, they brought me up to speed and what was going on, and that was a no-brainer to jump in and help those folks over there in Havasu. Just, they've been around forever. They've been through a lot. They've been a part of the Polaris family for as long as I think anybody can remember. Their liveries and their scheme is so recognizable when you see it. Their chase trucks, everything. And, AZ West had a lot to do with that as well. They certainly helped us out and delivered that unit over there. And so that was great to have them on board. And I know they've been a supporter of Lacrecia's program for a long time. So yeah, it was a great effort. It was just, they would do the same for any of their industry friends and family as well. And so, it's fun to do that stuff. It's great to be a part of it. And she certainly deserved it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think it's cool that you guys did that. And that goes back to what you just mentioned, Case. Like everybody has to do their part, right, to come out on the positive end of things after all this stuff is going on. Because had she not been so forward thinking in her program up to leading through those years, then that probably would have never happened. Like if she was quote unquote slacking off, then it would have probably just been easy to skip over that, but she wasn't. She was doing a good job. So Polaris took note and helped her out.
Yep.
Well, that's cool, man. Like I think that's bitching that you guys did all that stuff. What's on the roster for the rest of the week for you?
Oh man, we're just grinding. It's it's obviously, we're looking forward to getting racing again like everybody else, but there's just things that we got to do in the meantime until we can get there. But just doing what we can. It's a time of creativity, and I think content is obviously a big focal point for everybody. So we're just doing our part, and we have some big projects on the horizon we're working on, and it's just take advantage of the time, and even on a personal level, it's we're not traveling as much. I'm able to spend time with my family, and I think that everybody is in the same boat there. That that's a good problem to have, where you're not traveling. Obviously, everybody that's involved in racing, and we all love to be out on the road and love to be at the races, but it's still it's a time right now where you get the extra time with your family, and that's a great thing. So just hanging in there, man. It's amazing that it's already Easter. It's already April. We're almost to May, and Lord knows it'll be great to hear that we can go racing again.
Yeah. Well,
how about you guys?
Yeah. Kind of the same thing. And like Casey was talking about this the other day too, and you were talking about it. But when you have meetings at work, like if you're having Zoom meetings, you say, "Excuse my coworkers," like you're just gonna have to
your colleagues.
Yeah, my colleagues.
Yeah. No, trust me. The kids like having dad home a lot more. But certainly a challenge to navigate when you got a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old that want to spend as much time with you as possible. So that's just part of the deal. Everybody's dealing with it. It's funny to jump on a conference call or something, and then whether you're with just your colleagues or executives or whoever it is right now, everybody's going through it, which is kind of funny. It's you can hear kids screaming, and it's kind of like that. I don't know what he was, a British, like a senator or something like that. There was a while back that viral video where some guy and his kid came in. He was on like a global conference call or something, and kids come in behind him. It's very, very similar situation. But everybody's going through it. It's just part of the deal. We'll get by.
So funny story before I forget. So
we got to haul butt on that story. So
okay.
Go for it.
So my wife she's a speech therapist, so she's doing her therapy through Zoom meetings, and they have a meeting to say, hey, how was it with how's it going with her coworkers? And one of the coworkers goes, man, so and so's grandpa has walked across the screen in his underwear 4 times today. So here they are. They're trying to do their thing, and Grandpa's doing his thing. He's not paying attention.
Too funny.
Yep.
Too funny.
I'm sure we're not the only one.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. What else I think is cool right now is while there is no real racing, there's a lot of virtual racing and iRacing, and the short course race, Jim Beaver short course race just took place this weekend, and man, what a time if you're an iRacer or a esports competitor. I mean, geez, this is like the golden time right now. So it's kind of cool to see all that stuff taking place. Yeah, it's certainly booming.
It's blowing up big time. And so we talked about return on the investment for Zoom. Maybe some of these racers should just have Grandpa walk across the screen and then just get a viral video.
Totally.
There you go.
Just have him be on wearing something sponsor specific.
Yeah, right. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Got to get creative, right?
Well, we got Caden Danbury. He's going to call us in just a little bit here, so we'll let you go, Brett. Thank you so much for calling in, man. Miss you and the family.
Of course.
Hope you guys keep it safe up there.
Yeah, thanks. You too, guys. Yeah, we'll talk again soon. Thanks for having me on.
All right, brother.
Take care, Brett. Thanks.
We'll see you.
Bye. Yeah, that's really, really actually like a good point, though, is no matter what you're doing, even if it's the grandpa or whatever. Sorry, I think we missed your call, Caden, so feel free to give us a buzz back when you get a chance. Even if it is the grandpa walking across the screen, like it's still
something.
Yeah, it's still something cool that they can put out on social media, just to get attention and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay. Are you there, Caden?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's going on, dude?
Nothing much. Just living the quarantine life.
Living the quarantine life?
Nice.
Yeah.
How's things going over there, man?
Everything's going great here. It's just been rainy and stopped raining, so be able to get back on pit bikes and ride razors. So I'm ready.
Right on. Well, yeah, our Easters went pretty good, man. We were pretty chill over here. We just had Brett Carpenter on the phone, and he was saying, yeah, it was pretty cool to have a nice Easter with his family. So did you have fun with your family too?
Yeah, we had fun with my family. We had a fun time, and then, yeah, it was a great Easter. I was loving it.
Did you guys do a Easter egg hunt?
Yeah, we did an Easter egg hunt at my house. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's
in the
cool.
backyard.
Did Remy get more Easter eggs than you, or did you get more Easter eggs than her?
I ended up getting more, surprisingly. Usually, I don't.
Oh, usually she beats you?
Yeah, usually she beats me. I ended up getting more money than her, though, in the eggs.
Ooh, sweet. Right. Well, that's all money that's going back into the race program, so you got lucky there.
Yeah, I got lucky.
So that's awesome, man. Well, did you hear what we were talking about return on investment for sponsors when we were talking earlier?
Yeah. Yeah, I was listening in, and I heard you guys were talking about that. Lately, me and my mom, had our little thing. We printed out a schedule. We really thought, and we're, started writing down ideas for my sponsors, because my mom emailed all of my sponsors and saw how they can help.
Yeah.
How we can help them. And we just got printed out a schedule, and we just started listing ideas, and we got our schedule going. And the more ideas we get, the more we write down, and the more things we do.
Right on. Can you share one of those with us that you already done? Not the future ones, but maybe something that you've already done for your sponsors?
Yeah, we did PRP. I did a little edit for them. I do some editing.
Oh, it's some video stuff?
Yeah, we did some PRP things. We did we videoed the seat and stuff, and then I ended up going on their website and because they have free shipping, and if you use the promo code together, you get 10% off with most of your purchases. So that was a sweet deal, and I was just on there just messing around because I love messing around with the seats. And yeah, so we did that video. We have a few of them coming up soon that we want to do. It's just we'll see what we can do in a matter of time.
See what I was saying about the kids coming up with creative stuff? I knew it was going to be awesome to hear some of those stories.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good job, dude. We'll keep up the good work. Hey, so we have our featured guest tonight is Lacrecia Beurrier. She said hi to you, too. She said, hey, Caden.
Yeah, I know her pretty well.
Oh, do you? Have you interacted with her a lot at the races?
A few, 5 years ago, I met her at the Sand Sport Show, and we kind of, stayed in touch from then.
Oh, cool.
I've always liked her car, Black Betty. That thing looks sweet.
Yeah.
But when we heard about that fire, our family was so bummed, man. We were like, that sucks. But she's gonna. I want to see what the new one's gonna look like. Pretty interested in seeing what that one.
It's really cool to see them get the opportunity to get a new race car going and stuff. Don't you think?
Yeah.
That's what
it's really cool.
That's what we were telling Brett Carpenter that was awesome that Polaris did that for him.
Yeah, Polaris is so nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They take care of who takes care of them, right? Just like we're talking about return on investment.
Yep.
So,
yep.
What kind of stories? Do you have any stories about interacting with Lacrecia or seeing anything that she's posted online that you liked?
Honestly, not off the top of my head right now. I don't. I'm just really curious about that car.
Yeah, to see what the new car is going to be like.
Yeah, that's how I always am with a few things, because I for example, Blake Wilkie, whenever he was building the bug, I would pop on there on his Instagram and YouTube, see how that thing's doing. So that's what I'm gonna start doing that third car.
Oh,
I'm ready.
So we got one user chiming in right now, Alfonso, and he said, "Any pit bike tips, Caden?" So he's asking you if you got any pit bike tips because he just got a CRF 110.
Don't ask me. I injured my toe. I'm not good at riding at all. I about broke my pinky because I hit the play set, and that's why I don't buy new plastics. You don't trust me with a brand new 110.
So I got a bunch of things from that story. So I figured Mom and Dad let him ride in the backyard, and he hit a place.
That's what I was
It's
picturing.
So this quarantine life is really hitting him hard, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
around.
I have more videos in mind with the pit bikes, so that's going to be interesting.
There you go. So just try to avoid the swing set, bud.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, how's your family doing? Are you having to help them with work and stuff too? Is your mom working from home?
Yeah, she's working from home. I just been doing homeschool stuff. Just dealing with that. It's different. It's very different from school. It's like, I don't know. It's a whole different deal that I have to deal with.
Do you think
it's pretty cool that I like it?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it's going to make it so that in the future you can work a little bit better? So like when you get a job or at the races, you can just like shift gears real quick and do something different?
Yeah, I really like this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Today I actually am really excited. I made my own schedule because I can make my own schedule for it. So I made my own schedule today, and I did a few things, but yeah.
That's cool,
It'll
man.
be good for school.
What about your sister? So you're probably helping mom and dad and Remy around the house too, right?
Yeah, I'm helping them. We got a lot of rain, and a lot of the sandbox got washed away. So I feel like tomorrow I'm probably gonna fill up those sand spots and just help them out a little.
There you go. See? So yeah, I think you should do an Instagram on that, man. Helping out your parents.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do do some episode 1 of helping the parents.
Dude, there you go.
There you go.
All right, so Casey's going to take that same episode 1 and see if he can get his girls at home to help out too, help out mom and dad.
Yeah, right.
So
we should start a whole new thing, a whole new challenge.
There you go,
helping
dude.
Out the parents.
Yeah, the episode 1 challenge. Help out the parents.
Even though I didn't like the challenges, I think I might have to start one.
There you go, dude. Yeah. Did you remember 8 months ago or something? They did a challenge after I got in my accident, and they did a challenge of who could blend up food and eat it.
Yeah, I remember that challenge.
Some people blended up some really nasty stuff like anchovies and hot sauce and really crazy stuff.
Pizza.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I didn't sign up for that
one. I don't think I would do that either.
I would sign up for it.
But some people did some pretty cool stuff. Like one family did donuts and ice cream. That looked pretty good.
Yeah. Mike Gardner did one.
Yep, he did In-N-Out Burger. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, you can make up your own challenge helping the parents, dude. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, we got to call Lacrecia right now and get her on the line. So thanks for calling in, bud. I really appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited. I was really stoked that you guys brought me in.
Yeah, I'm stoked, dude. Well, if you come up with any ideas that you can help your sponsors and they involve the dirt life, let me know.
And we're looking forward to episode 1, Sandbox.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Tell your family I said hi, bud. You too. See you later.
See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye. That's awesome. Episode 1, Sandbox, helping the parents. That's pretty cool.
I'm totally picturing a little mini moto track in his backyard. The sandbox is the sand section.
Yeah, there you go.
And somehow or another, there's these ruts going around this big play set, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he busted his toe. That's what I'm picturing. I don't know if your vision is the same as mine.
So he could have those enduro cross tracks, but in the backyard. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm picturing.
I wonder
maybe in that sand thing, there's some fake alligators, and he jumps the pit and stuff.
Like a blow-up alligator from the pool. Put that in there.
Perfect.
Dude, Red Bull does some stuff like that with their mountain bike guys.
They do. They're insane.
So that's such a good idea. Well, hopefully somebody will take these good ideas that we're throwing out there tonight and make up their own videos. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with Lacrecia Beurrier. Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target, and we are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel, and then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really, really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
it's
the
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that, if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
All right, we are back with our featured guest tonight, and her co-host in her house, Lacrecia, Beurrier, and Trevor.
Hi.
What's up?
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
So I think I just introduced you guys to my co-host, Casey Peck. Casey and I actually grew up together out here, kind of where you came over and met us, Trevor. It was pretty cool, man. We got to do all the mini bike riding and all that stuff when we were little, too.
On our old stomping grounds.
Yep, exactly.
Very cool.
So we got a couple people come on the show earlier. We obviously want to get into your story, Lacrecia, of how you got into off-road racing and stuff. And and for everybody that doesn't know who Lacrecia is, she's one of the, it was said twice already today, OGs of side-by-side racing. Lacrecia grew up in a motorsports environment. She's been around it her whole life. Obviously, her family is in it now. They run a company called Rockstar Customz. They build and fabricate race cars for her team, obviously. They help out other people. She's a championship-winning, best in the desert off-road racer, and she's still doing it after all these years, man. She's really, really got a very, very good name for herself in the industry, and man, it's just nice to have her on the phone with us, or on the show with us.
It's nice to put a name to a face too, because she's always chiming in, saying hi, and all the above.
Exactly. So welcome, Lacrecia.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Well, what's going on with you guys? Do you guys have a good Easter?
Yeah, we don't do a lot of big holidays. We just, we actually had a good weekend. We have friends that have property up in Yucca. We took the 110s and the side-by-sides out and did a little social distancing with a couple of really close friends and drove from Yucca to Alamo and back. It was really fun, and then did a lot of pit bike riding around their camp area.
Right on. How was that, Trevor? Was that pretty fun?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
What
He
kind of
crashed.
really?
He's like,
Yeah,
come on, Mom. Don't tell him. Don't tell him I crashed.
What happened, dude? You got to give us a story.
Well, my buddy was hitting a jump, so I decided to hit the jump, but I hit the jump a little too hard and ended up landing sideways, and I slid down the backside of the jump on my head.
Oh, great.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, you got any battle wounds?
A little bit of scrapes on my arm, and I ruined my helmet, but
Hey,
it's all right.
safety first, right?
Yep.
Mom always teaches safety first, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we got a audience member, John, chimed in, says, she's my badass cousin. Hey, Trevor.
Hey, John. Yeah, he's a cousin. I haven't seen him since I was little, probably. He used to live in California. He used to race flat track motorcycles. He's pretty badass himself.
Yeah, right on. Well, the flat track is actually gaining a lot of ground.
It is.
So before we get into your story, we had the topic of conversation that we had today was about return on investment for sponsors, and your name came up a couple times because you guys do a good job at that. Obviously, you know, doing things in the shop and showing what you're doing on social media and things like that. Do you have any suggestions for some people that are watching, like to be able to get their return on the investment when they're not racing?
I'm actually taking tips from everyone else, but I think you kind of have to schedule it into your day, because these days go on and you kind of forget because we're not racing.
Yep.
So you kind of have to make a schedule and say, hey, today we need to make a post for these guys and let's do something for them. And I need to get better at that, actually. We need to really start working on it as this keeps dragging on.
Well, I think you should repost that picture of you in the Razor doing like that wheelie, like that. Whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You must have hit like a bump and had the front of the car come off the ground. But I think that's
cool.
like literally the awesomest picture I've ever seen in a side by side.
It was actually Trevor. I was at the Mint 400 last year. I let him drive the first lap. And Michael Isom actually came up to me at the start line and said, hey, go tell Trevor right outside of pit B to check up. They look like normal whoops. They're not. He had crashed and tore his car up there. So I run down there and tell him, and he still kind of hit it a little bit too hard.
Oh, that was you driving, Trevor?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take credit for that one.
Dude, I'll give you a virtual high five for that one, dude. That was an awesome picture, man.
Double high five.
Yeah, I got some pretty good photos from that.
That one needs
he's able to ride it out. And we finished the race. The A-arms were a little bent, but it was all good. And he came around. I said, Trevor, do you want to stay in for the next lap? He said, nope, I'm getting out.
That one needs to be tagged with like your engine tuner or your whatever computer programmer for horsepower. That's because that says it all right there. Regardless of what happened, that's what it looks like.
Or like a funny meme that says, "How hard are you puckered?" Like,
yeah, right.
We had Tisha Edwards said she's my bestest friend from high school. Hi from Delta.
Hi, Tish.
So,
we kind of have the same name.
So
we were Tish and Krish.
Oh, really? That's what you guys went by?
Yeah.
So let's get back into your story then. So what actually made you get into motorsports? Did you get into it at a young age?
Yeah. So my dad loved everything motorsports. We always had dirt bikes. I had my first bike was an XR75, and I was really little, like maybe 5. I couldn't touch the ground. So he would hold it up for me till I got going, and then he just let me go and I rode it till I crashed. So we just did a lot of timber riding. We didn't race or anything. There wasn't any kind of races like that when I was a kid. So I started out there. We had snowmobiles, we water skied, we snow skied, and we just did anything there was to do. We did it.
When you say timber riding, that means that you weren't from Arizona then when you were growing up, huh?
No, we were in Iowa, so it was hill climbing and timber riding. So to watch out for trees.
That's gnarly, though.
Short bars, right?
Yeah, I always get sketched out when I see all those like woods riding things because I feel like we, as Arizonans, like we would easily hit the trees.
Totally. We're not used to that. We got creosotes and mesquites.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And, I'm so far removed from that now. Like, I don't particularly care for riding in the trees. I like the desert way better.
Sure.
Yeah, well, you're a desert expert, that's why. But anyway, so you grew up obviously around motorsports and stuff. And did your dad want you to race, or like what was the like? Why did you like it so much? Because a lot of girls would say, "No, I don't want to do this. I want to go do something else."
I have an older brother. He's 6 years older than me, and we're just super competitive. So everything was trying to beat each other doing stuff. Of course, he was a lot older than me, but I still want to try. So everything he wanted to do, I had to try it too, and just grew up being real competitive.
That kind of sounds like the way that we grew up. Like whether our sisters wanted to do it or not, we were always like the brothers all together, like wanting to beat each other all the time too.
Right, that little song's playing in my head. Anything you can do, I can do.
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
That's what's playing in my head right now.
Well, so when did you decide that you wanted to like get a little bit more serious about it? Or actually, you know what? Let's backtrack because we always give people this question. Like, did your dad, was he like one of those ones like if you can't start it, you can't ride it kind of guy, or you got to work on it yourself?
Pretty much. You had to be able to start it. I learned how to kickstart stuff early on, and my snowmobile was a pull start. You had to be able to pull it. I learned how to water ski on one ski when I was 11, and he really egged us on, and he would want me to be competitive. So if there was other boys around my age, he would say, well, she can do it better than you, and really egged me on a lot.
That's cool though. That's like a motivation right there.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. That's probably what gave, like those little things was what gave her a competitive spirit these days, And obviously wanting to beat the big bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So does your big bro still hang out or no?
He lives in Colorado, so I don't get to see him very often. He's come out to the Mid 400 a couple times. My sister's been out a few times. It's just hard for me to interact with them at races because we're so busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's actually more fun for them. They watch it online, watch the dots, and call each other, and they enjoy that better, and then they come out and visit later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mike Pascarilla just said an awesome family. Well, so speaking of family then, so how many siblings did you grow up with? Because that's another, obviously, if you're that competitive.
My older brother and my older sister, so I was the baby, so I was kind of spoiled, I guess.
Well, that's what probably gave you the competitive spirit, though. You always want to beat the bigger guys, right?
Right. You got to keep up or be better, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome, though. And then Dad was obviously giving you all the tools to be able to do that. Did he work with them as well? Like you guys all rode together and played together and stuff?
Yep, we all rode together. We all had our own bikes. We all had our own snowmobiles. We went on a camping vacation trip every year for a couple of weeks. One summer, my dad was working close to the lake that we used to go to, so we lived at the lake during the summer. We'd go home for a couple days during the week to mow the yard, and otherwise we just lived at the lake. So we camped outside and went water skiing every day. It was a pretty great summer.
Dang, that is pretty cool.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, did you ever ride dirt bikes then? Because obviously Trevor likes dirt bikes, but where did
XR75.
Everybody rode XR75.
I know, she didn't say PW50. I'm a little bummed out.
Did you have a PW50?
Yeah, I did. those didn't exist, but my cousin there was a 2-stroke one, and he had that, and I got to ride it, but I didn't like it. So I just stuck to my 4-stroke.
Nice. She's an OG 4-stroker too.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Super OG 4-stroke person, huh?
Cool.
And what about the snowmobiles, though? Do you like those?
Loved it. That was like my favorite thing. And probably if we'd stayed in Iowa, I probably would have raced snowcross. I absolutely loved it. But we moved away when I was 14. So then I was just a pretty regular teenager, except I used to steal my dad's hot rod truck and go drag race on Main Street when they weren't home. And until I met Eric, and then started getting real competitive again with these motorsports.
That's cool. Did you, when you raced the truck, were you already like having that competitive spirit then?
Yeah, because it's kind of a sleeper. It looks like the farm truck, but it's black.
Ooh.
And my dad's a motorhead, so it was all cammed up, and I love that thing. It's a long bed, 1971 Chevy, and so nobody ever thought I would win. I beat everybody. It was awesome.
Did you race for money?
Nah, we didn't have any money.
I was going to say, racing for money, you could have come home with a bunch of cash. That would have been fun.
Right? It was just bragging rights.
Right on. That's pretty cool, though. We had a couple of people that were talking about like doing the old school drag racing and stuff like that. I would have liked to have been able to see that or do that, because having like a non-sanctioned event would be really, really cool, because everything's sanctioned these days. You know what I mean? Like the legal street racing doesn't really exist too much anymore.
Right.
So did you guys move straight to Arizona after that?
I met Eric in Las Vegas. My dad was working there right after I got out of high school, pretty much. So I moved there. I met Eric there, and we had Trevor, and he was about 2 years old, and we didn't really have my parents had moved back to Colorado. We didn't have anybody there, so we decided to move to Havasu. He had family here, and we wanted some help with Trevor.
Oh, right on. So so it made it a little bit better, huh?
Yeah, just a lot easier to have someone help us out when we're both working and that kind of stuff, without having to go to a babysitter. I don't like babysitters and daycare.
Yeah, I think that actually makes a big difference in all of the kids' lives. We were actually talking about that with my family the other day, too, that depending on how much time a parent can actually spend with their family, it's really, really a good decision if you can to be able to leave the parent with the kids when they're a really young age.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, he stayed home with Eric and worked in the shop since he was 2. So that's why he's so good at all of this mechanical stuff, and he knows as much as he does because he doesn't know anything else.
Yeah.
He's done it his whole life.
That's pretty awesome, though. And then, so you were talking about work and stuff. So what kind of job did you guys have, you and Eric, when you guys were in Las Vegas before you moved down here or down to Arizona?
I was a nurse. I went to nursing school while I was in Las Vegas, and I worked as a nurse in the ER there. And Eric is actually a commercial electrician. So he was doing that, we both made really good money. It just kind of sucked. We didn't like the city, and we didn't have anybody there really to hang out with other than our work friends. So we came here where we had family.
Yeah, it makes a big difference when you have all that help or support systems. Well, that's funny that he's a commercial electrician, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
awesome.
Casey does a lot of electrical stuff as well. So it's neat to see that, though. And one of the things that I wanted to compliment you on was it's not easy running your own race team, running your own business, being a nurse, and obviously having a family. And you do a very, very good job at time management and being able to do all that stuff. So kudos to you, because one of the things that I learned when I went up and was able to stay at your house and look at the way that you guys ran things and did stuff, I was barely getting into the side-by-side or off-road racing. And I learned a lot in those few hours that I was sitting there. So thank you guys very much for passing that information on to me.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to share it with anybody that wants to know. So we've had a lot of different race teams come into our life and our race team and learn from us and then move on. And we're totally cool with that. I think it's cool that we get to do that. And it is tough. I work full time and try to help them run the business. And then I try to run all of the social media and all the marketing for the race team. Trevor's been helping out quite a bit lately. He's pretty good at it too. But it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah, well, and you got the team, so that's a really good way to put it too. Is that now you have a little bit of help too, since Trevor's able to learn some of that stuff too. We got one comment in that said Jessica said illegal street racing in Cali all day, so maybe you need to bring the truck out there and get some extra racing cash. Huh?
Right.
Whip up on some of those boys. Brett Carpenter said hi, Lacrecia, as well. So.
Hey, Brett.
It's cool to see that stuff. Like we had Brett on earlier, and it was really nice to hear him talk so highly of you guys. And obviously, the stuff that you've done for his new company, Polaris, is really cool. It's just it's amazing to see. I mean, the common theme that we're talking about right now, like you helped me, you helped a bunch of other people, you obviously have helped your sponsors. It's so awesome, and we talk about this all the time. Just being a good person can make you get so much further ahead in anything that you do. Your job, your racing program, anything.
Right.
So every single day when I wake up after the shows or during the week and stuff, I always think back about it, man. It's so much easier to be a good person. Well,
Totally agree with that.
what about you, Trevor? After you fell on your head, you still think you should be a good person?
Yeah, I'd say being a good person, the best person you can be, is definitely very important.
We got a comment in that said, do you have any Best in the Desert plans for this year if they're going to obviously start racing again?
Absolutely. We had plans to race the Silver State 300 with our friends that let us race their car in Parker this year. He doesn't like the silt and I don't like the trees, so we were going to share that. So if it comes back, we probably still have that plan. And then we want to race Vegas to Reno for sure. I love that race. I love to go far, far away. And always Parker in October. I was so sad when they took that off the program, and now that it's returned, I can't wait. That's one of my favorite tracks. I've podiumed there, I think, 3 times.
Yeah, sweet, man. Well, and it's a little bit closer to home, too.
Yeah, it's not hard to get home afterwards. It's about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's nice and easy. Well, that question came from James Morgan. Parker James, he said, so let's take a step back then. So you moved to Arizona, and you obviously had a new baby. What was the next step in your life?
Well, when I met Eric, he was a quad rider. I'd never ridden quads because my dad didn't like them for whatever reason. I don't know. So he had a quad, and he bought me a quad, and he took me to the sand dunes in Glamis. And that was definitely a challenge, but it was a lot like riding a snowmobile. So I got the hang of it pretty quick. And we went a lot. We went every 2 weeks during the season. And even after we had Trevor, we still went. So we had really nice Banshees for a while when those were super popular. And then we went back to 4 strokes. And then the Rhinos came out. And somebody brought one to Glamis. We thought they were dumb. And then somebody brought one to our garage because we were building rock crawlers at the time because we were really interested in rock crawling. And he said, hey, can you build me a cage? So Eric built a cage. And from there, it just took off. Like, he built a cage for that guy. That guy brought 5 guys, and we just couldn't build them fast enough.
Yeah, it makes such a big difference, especially being good people. That's how you get good business, too. All right, so I want to backtrack just a little bit and ask, on the Banshees, did you have a Toomey kit?
Eric's had Toomeys. What did I have, Eric?
You have to.
The Banshee. I don't remember what I had on Pro Circuit, I think.
Toomey kits and FMF.
Yeah, I had Pro Circuit. Eric had Toomeys, but mine was all custom painted with cheetah flames and candy apple red and orange. And Eric had our motors were all blueprinted and balanced, and they were super fast. I had the first 12-inch billet wheels on mine with these giant haulers. It was a rocket.
Dude, I could only
Sounds
imagine.
like it.
Yeah. So, we grew up in that same kind of era, a little bit later than you guys, but my mom also had a Banshee as well. And I remember just like nowadays, like you get, obviously for, I don't know what's the hot ticket for exhaust for the Polaris Razors right now, but for the Yamahas, it's a Graves exhaust. And I remember being like, a Toomey, what is that? And then they like tell me it was the baddest thing ever for the Banshees. Yep. And I was like, oh, dang. So for me, that was something that was so memorable. I'll never forget. Yeah.
Toomey kit. It's funny.
They definitely have a distinct sound, and they really, really do sound awesome.
They do.
I don't know why I didn't have them on mine. We just chose Pro Circuit.
Because you wanted to be
different. They were pretty awesome.
You wanted to be different.
Yeah, I like to be different. My quad was definitely different. And so I was the only girl riding with all these men because I had to be competitive. So when someone tried to take my spot, I ride right behind Eric, and he's the leader. So then I have to fight and get my spot back. So I learned how to ride pretty quick.
Get all competitive with all the guys in the dunes.
Of course.
That's awesome. Okay, so you were riding quads and doing all that stuff, and like you said, you got into the side-by-side thing then. Was this around 06 or something, maybe?
Yep, exactly. At 06, we started building cages. And just prior to that, we were really into rock crawling because Havasu has some of the best rock crawling around, Havasu and Parker area. And we were really, really good at it. Eric and I were good at spotting each other, and both of us were good at driving. And we were getting ready to build what was called then a Formula Toy because we liked that it was a driving class, not some of the buggies with all the rear steer and all that made it too easy. And we liked finesse. So we were going to do that. And then this side-by-side thing it came about, and the rock crawling just kind of faded to the background, and it was all about side-by-sides.
It was kind of crazy how quick it took off, though. I mean, well, I guess compared to how it is now, it's not a huge industry, but it took off quicker than most people would think. I mean, how many cages did you guys build in the first year? Do you remember?
Hundreds. We couldn't keep up. We built hundreds of cages. It was just crazy.
Is that when Rockstar Customz came to fruition?
Yep. We actually stole that name from our friend that was a rock crawler, and he had Rockstar as his license plate because he was a rock crawler. And we just really liked it, and we asked him if we could steal it, and he let us, and it's been on us ever since. And it was before Rockstar, the energy drink. It didn't exist when we started our business, or at least we had never heard of it.
Maybe you should get some money
Some
from them.
royalties. Yeah, there you go.
Start getting paid a little bit.
Right.
Well, that's
even
super
now,
cool.
When they tag Rockstar Racing, when Rockstar Energy tags Rockstar Racing, it tags me. So I don't say anything to them because I'm getting this huge publicity for nothing.
Heck yeah.
Dude, talk about return on your investment.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Lacrecia, when you guys started doing the cages, I'm just putting the pieces together. Were you guys you were doing a business with the rock crawlers, or was it just kind of you did them?
He built them for other people. We built several, actually, mostly Samurais. That was kind of the thing here then because they were cheap to buy and easy. So we would put all Toyota running gear under them and build cages on them. And
so how crazy is it?
We did
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say how crazy was it where you were focusing on something that you guys were passionate about, obviously, and then out of nowhere, it's so cool how businesses
and then you
do
just
that.
Have to pivot and go
sometimes,
somewhere else.
Yeah, and then you guys were like, hey, this is something.
Right. And the thing is, the Samurai and rock crawling people in general, they're kind of junkyard builds mostly because you beat them up, right?
Right.
But the side-by-side thing was everyone wanted everything to be fancy and pretty and sparkly, and it was huge, and it was so different from what we were used to.
Dude, speak of the devil, like I remember seeing a guy, there was two guys, but back then in like maybe 2010 or something, 2010, there was actually a Yamaha Rhino that I saw that literally had $100 bills all over the whole thing. So
really?
talk about shiny and pretty and money oriented.
Totally. But how cool is that it becomes something super successful that you have no idea is coming, especially when you're aiming at something else. That's so cool.
Right. It was really cool. We had people dropping 30 grand in the shop to bling out there. It was a Rhino. They have 25 horsepower.
I love that.
That's crazy.
It's totally true. I remember it blowing up here. Probably not like it was there because you guys, you were kind of in the mecca of that rock crawling, but it got huge out here overnight, like you said.
Yeah, it really did. It felt like it did. I think we were quite a bit further late to the game than what Lacrecia was because let's just say it was 06. I don't think I got into it until right around 2009 or 2010, and that's when I got my first Rhino. So they had already been they had fuel injected when I got into it. So dang, that's pretty cool. So was Eric having to turn out all these cars and Trevor was just sitting there sucking on his pacifier watching Dad?
Yep, watching cartoons. He had his little area in the office. They had a TV and games and toys, and sometimes he would go to Grandma's, but mostly he hung out in the shop with us. And I was a flight nurse at the time, and I only worked 2 days a week. I worked 24-hour shifts. I worked 2 days a week, and the other days I was at the shop.
Oh, cool. So you were learning at the same time then, too.
Right. I learned a lot. I had to learn all about all the parts and what fits what and what's not a good idea, and learned all the better products. And it's where I got a lot of my relationships for racing because they were my vendors.
That's a really good way or conversation to talk about this return on investment too, because all of the stuff that she's doing, like she grew up in motorsports, right? She's clearly can race because she's racing and waxing all the boys in a truck, right? And she grew up riding snowmobiles and all that. But now you're going into I guess a different genre. It's kind of the same thing because it's the same mentality, right? You want to go out and have fun in the desert or off-road or wherever it is, but it's a totally different market. It's totally new. Like, how do you even plan for that? You kind of just go along with it. So she must have been just having to make decisions on the fly, learn all kinds of new stuff, and just that's pretty cool that you guys were able to adapt like that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Eric is pretty amazing. I mean, he was an electrician, and we moved to Havasu, and he decided to start fabricating. He basically taught himself.
Well, electricians can do everything.
Apparently
knows that.
so.
He knows that.
Apparently so, and he's built some beautiful race cars, and not just for me, but for a few other teams as well.
That's awesome.
He really has. I mean, I've obviously seen his work because I've been able to go up to their shop and stuff, and he does turn out some really, really cool products. The next step for you then, I guess, was just building your own car as a showcase car, maybe?
So, Eric built the Rhino kind of for him. He kind of wanted to look like a race car. I didn't really like driving it. I was still riding my quad. I didn't want to be in the car. But I happened to, so it was kind of already racy. And I picked up a Dirt Sports magazine, and they had done an article on the Powder Puff race in Barstow. I'm like, this is really cool. I want to do this because not only is it, it was a race, but it was for charity. All the money went to breast cancer research. And I showed him the article and said, we should do this. And he said, if you can raise enough money to pay the entry fee, I'll finish building this car, make it race legal. And that's what we did. And it was all over after that. 2 weeks to do it. Oh, and we had to do it in 2 weeks.
Of course.
Oh, shoot.
Of course. That's the best. Love it.
2 weeks to raise the money and to get it going, right?
Nice work.
So, right.
There's the trust. There's all the trust that the husband has in the wife. He's like, so now I got to build this, and you're going to have to go find the money. If you don't get the money, I'm already going to have it built. What the heck?
Or maybe he was like, nah, there's no chance. Yeah, sure, I'll do it if you can get the money in 2 weeks.
Go team.
Awesome.
That is pretty cool, though. So you went to the race then?
We went to the race. I got enough money from a lot of my vendors actually stepped up to help us out.
Sweet.
Some of my first sponsors that I still have are AO Coolers is a big one. Lone Star was another big one that stepped up and gave us long travel. And we had Elka shocks at the time on the car, and AO Coolers sent us a check and a whole bunch of coolers and stuff to donate. And we went racing.
That is really cool. So how do you think the first race went then? Were you expecting what happened, or?
I didn't know what to expect. I'd never really driven it before. So I get in the car and I can't reach anything because it really was his. So I get all strapped in and I can't even reach the ignition. He put a block on the gas pedal for me so I could reach that. And if you've ever been to Barstow, Maine, when you're going counterclockwise and you get right before you drop into the wash, there's a bunch of whoops. It's kind of like a witch eye. And I hit that because he told me I could drive through anything with that long travel and those shocks. And it spun me around and shut the car off.
Whoa.
And I couldn't reach the ignition.
Oh, no.
So a bystander came over and started the car, and we took off. And we get to like race mile 6, and we're like, we're only at race mile 6. How much more do we have to go?
Oh, crap.
With 25 horsepower.
Yeah. So they were like, 70-mile laps or something like that. When they used to let us race the whole thing. And you went for 4 hours. So we just kept going, and I got run over by a buggy. She gave me a flat tire. I pulled into Baja Pits. They changed my tire for me. There's a big sweeping flat turn when you're coming back around into Barstow, Maine. And I rolled over the car there. Luckily, there was some boys standing there. They came and rolled it back over, said nothing was broke. So we kept going. And we ended up finishing the race in 4th place out of 10 women, never even really been in the car before. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, minus all that adversity, you might have even got up into the podium. That would have been cool.
Yeah. If I hadn't rolled the car on that last lap, probably for sure we would have. And so my husband and our T-shirt guy was there helping him, and Trevor was really little then. They were marking lap times in the dirt with a stick, and they had started drinking really early. So by the time we came around last lap, they were all drunk.
So maybe you did 5 laps instead of 4?
Yeah, it's hard to say. So, but everybody was hooked then. And so I didn't start racing with the boys just yet, because I wanted to come back to that race again and I wanted to win. And so we did a lot of improvements to the Rhino that year.
Yep.
And I came back the next year and I won, and I actually beat Corey Weller.
Awesome.
That's really wanted to beat.
That's really cool. Well, good job. Good job on doing that. Caden Danbury says he's been dealing with the short person life since the beginning. So,
isn't it funny the things you remember?
Yeah,
I always say that. It's funny the things you remember. Like I can picture you reaching for the ignition.
Yeah,
like not in a bad way. Just like I can just see it, and like you're probably so mad. The things that
almost there.
Yeah,
almost
right.
there.
You just touch it.
Yeah, you can hit it with your finger, but
right.
You can't turn it.
Totally. That's cool.
And that's it's kind of what's hard for us now, because I'm so short and my husband and my son are so big. So trying to build a race car that we all fit in is challenging.
Yeah, you got to at least be somewhat close. I know that for sure. Yeah, it was when we were trying to do the idea for the desert racing stuff. I'm pretty tall, so I was thinking like, who could I have as a co-driver? And it would have to be somebody almost as tall as what I am. So
right.
I guess they make the seat pads and different stuff like that, but it's just not the same.
It's not. We use sliders a lot so that I can pull forward.
Oh,
and
cool.
then I have had booster seats. So usually when I race someone else's car, I bring my booster seats with me because I never fit, and nobody does sliders except for us. So the sliders are awesome.
A phone book and a big old piece of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to get things going so quickly. And one of the things that I took from that is just going back to Eric's qualities and stuff too, is in dirt bikes, 80% rider, 20% bike, or whatever they say, whatever the ratio is. And then in car racing or off-road racing, side-by-side racing, any of that stuff, it's usually flipped. It's like 80% car, 20% driver, or whatever the ratio is. So that shows a lot for their capabilities as a team to be able to build a car to go out there and win in their, we'll call it second race. You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
Pretty bitchin'.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. It is. And then even just most recently, we threw a car together for me to be able to race the Mint. And I think there were 13 cars in the Unlimited Pro class, and we ended up 5th. We would have probably been on the podium, but I broke a belt, and it was me and Emily. So it took us a little longer than it probably would have took one of the guys they usually put me with. But we did it, and we did really good.
That's super, super cool. And all of that comes from the adversity and all of the stuff that you've learned over the years too. So, so let's just go back to that second race that you did. While you were doing that race, were you like, wow, this is completely different than what I thought it was going to be. I'm actually digging this. Like maybe we could start doing something with this since the business is working.
Yep, absolutely. I was wanting to win that race so bad. And we had a couple of things happen, and all the girls did that were racing that race that year. I got about halfway around on one lap. I don't remember when it was, and I didn't have any fuel. So something happened with the vacuum line, and I was so mad, and I'm yelling at him over the radio, and I'm kicking the car, and we finally got it going. And Corey Weller had a shock issue, so she was down for a while, and it all worked out where we are racing to the finish on the last lap. And I actually beat her on time.
Awesome.
Dang, that's cool. Some of those are the best ones too, because you're like just itching, like, What do I do? Go, go, go!
I can totally picture it. I love it.
Right. So I had better shocks because mine was set up for desert. Hers was set up for short course. So I kept telling Eric, I'm almost going to pass her in the whoops, but I can't catch her on the straights. He said, as long as you can see her, you win. So as long as I kept her close enough to be in sight, I had won.
Dude, that's super cool. Well, what were the next, and that's a good memory too, right? So you can always have that one in your pocket.
Right. And I love her. I look up to her so much. She's so fast. So me being able to tell the story that I beat her once in my life, I think it's pretty cool.
Hey, I got one of those same stories too. Yay. Go us. But she's got more stories than we do, beating me at least. So
yeah, for sure.
What was like the next milestone that you guys did? Obviously, you guys moved into the Polaris class. Was that when the 800 came out?
Yeah, we Eric worked out of town for a while, so we took like a half a year or a year off. I wasn't racing a full season of anything just yet. And he found a chassis that was just a rolling chassis that was built at Geyser Brothers shop for super cheap. He found it on Craigslist. And he decided to buy it for us, and he brought it home and did his thing to it. And we raced that 800 for 2 years, almost 3 years. Wow. I love that car.
That's pretty
We
cool.
won. I raced Sportsman in it, and I won every race that I raced except that I had like maybe 2 DNFs.
Man, that's pretty awesome. And then so you guys just custom built that whole car, you got the chassis and just put everything together?
Yeah, it had custom long travel. It had internal bypass shocks at the time from Fox that nobody even ever heard of. We didn't like them. They were horrible, but they've improved them a lot since then.
Dang, that's pretty sweet. And then so that, I guess, cultivated or kicked off your journey with Polaris then.
It did. We love the car. And then I got sponsored by Dragonfire with that car because I won the Mint the year before, I think, and they asked to sponsor us, and we won the Mint again. And they were in a real good relationship with Can-Am, and they asked us if they helped us get a Can-Am, would we race Can-Am for a year? So we got one, and Eric built it as still the best looking Can-Am. Actually, the Mertens that live somewhere close to you have it.
Yep.
Great car. We just couldn't keep it together to do well in races. So during the time we were racing that, Craig Scanlon called me on the phone and said, hey, you're an OG racer. I really want to see you in a Polaris. So he sent us one, and we've been Polaris ever since. So we're going on 6 years of being sponsored by Polaris.
That's cool. And obviously you guys have a good relationship with, dealing with a lot of Polaris or different vehicles in the shop too. So that makes a big difference too.
Yeah. And Eric knows everything about them. So it's easy for us. And even all our friends and family, they ask us, we're like, we just really, it's not a sponsor thing. We just really love them. So if you come to our camp, it's all Polaris. There'll be 10 or 15 of them, and it's all Polaris.
Yeah, that's super cool. And one of the things that I remember most about when I went up there to talk to you guys too is the follow-up stuff. Like we started getting into side-by-side racing, and I needed help. I would call Lacrecia and ask them, and they would always answer all the questions that I had. If she didn't know, or Eric didn't know, they would ask somebody else, but most of the time they knew. And then even beyond that, we were trying to work with a shock company, and they had already had stuff done with the shock company, so they were willing to give information and even an easy up from that shock company. So it was pretty cool to see like all the stuff that they were willing to give back just because they thought that I could use it, So
yeah, that's awesome.
It makes a big difference when you're a starting racer to have that platform, man. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why your business is so successful as well, because you're talking to well, let me put it this way. Sometimes when you're sponsored by X brand, some people don't, just like you said, you were kind of alluding to, some people don't buy your 100% opinion because they're like, well, you're sponsored by them. But you guys are working on everything. So your opinion matters.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You race the other car for a little bit, so you're not bashing it, but you can say what we're supporting. We know everything about it, and we can help you with it. So I'm sure that goes a lot in business as well.
Yeah, like literally speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's been stuff that people have sent to us to try out on the race car or just to play with to see, and it doesn't work out. So our honest opinion is this might be okay for play. It's not good enough for racing and that kind of thing. So
right.
Yeah, so that brings up another point, product development too.
Yep.
Yeah. So they have a better product development platform. That's super cool. Well, so you were in the 800, you did Can-Am, and then what was the next one?
They sent us a 2015 two-seat NA Polaris, and we had only about 4 weeks to build it before Parker. And Eric spent a lot of all-nighters out in the shop, but he got it done. And I guess kind of to this day, it's our favorite looking car. It's a really cool looking car. We actually sold it to friends of ours, 3P, and they're still racing it.
Is that the same car that you won the championship in?
It is. They sent us that car. We won the championship in the unlimited class. We moved up to the NA Pro class, and we finished second points only behind Justin Lambert from Cognito. So to me, because he's really fast and very good program, it speaks a lot for us to finish only behind him.
So one of the things that I've always wondered, and you can probably be a super good expert on this question, is did Best in the Desert, because like now you go to any Best in the Desert race, it's balls to the wall. Whoever finishes wide open, if they can, wins. Was it always like that, or was it a little bit more methodical before?
It was way more methodical. When we were racing the 800, if you finished, you were going to finish well. And there was only 10 of us or 12 of us. And at the Mint 400, I think there were 20. And we were really excited about that because we couldn't believe the car count, and now there's over 100.
Right.
So it's a lot harder.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
I always wondered that though too, because like to me, like I've never raced a desert race, like driven a desert race or anything. I mean, like the UTV World Championship, I was still sitting by myself, but that's the closest thing I've ever done, right? I've sat in the passenger seat, but I still don't I don't get the mentality of if I just go wide open and I finish, I'll win. But if I break, I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like I don't know. To me, it's not quite as fun of a race because then that doesn't give anybody else a chance unless you're just going full tilt. Like I don't know. I really just don't.
Yeah, but it speaks so highly to all your prep and your, your builder, the way you guys, he knows how you drive, you know how he builds stuff. That's what's so cool about it to me. I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I can definitely respect she's going to go wide open for 8 hours or whatever it is, 4 hours, and he knows he can build it. That's pretty awesome. And
so
then she's going to...
so you got to have all the prep work match what's going to happen on the track.
And it all comes together, right? That's what's so cool about it, where she's really driving it to its level, but at the same time knowing that, okay, if I drive it like this, we can finish, but we can still possibly win.
Maybe that's something that Trevor can speak to is all the preparation and things like that go into having to drive that gnarly.
It takes a lot. I actually do pretty much all the mechanical prep on the car myself. My dad looks over, but he's busy doing most of the fabrication. So when it comes down to mechanicals on the car, I'm pretty much the one doing it. And it takes a lot. You got to know, where to beef stuff up, where not to, what kind of bolts to use. We put a lot of time into thinking everything out, getting everything done, everything, making sure everything's tight and everything's marked and everything's the best it can possibly be so that we can go and run that car as hard as we possibly can and not have an issue.
That's crazy to think about, though. Like, just think about, in the short course stuff, it's way easier than the stuff they do, right? Like, I was able to manage most of the program myself, and I would know what bolts to tighten and different things like that. But just think about him preparing a car for his mom to go race, to first of all keep her safe. It's his mom.
Right.
And then making sure that he's doing that, because I'm sure he does it to help other people, too. But even checking the different bolts, like instead of using a low-grade bolt, they would use a grade 8 bolt and stuff like that. There's so much that goes into that, and he's a young kid doing all that.
Yeah, the details are awesome. That's going to go far in your life for you, I'm sure, being detail-driven and,
Even if you don't want to work with Dad and you go be a professional electrician, you still have all of that knowledge. Like, that's crazy, man.
Well, even for him, just knowing when the tie rod ends need to be changed, or when the rod ends are just a little bit loose, that we really should change these. And we use Access, give them a little plug, and they're great, but they do wear out eventually. So he knows that little bit of feel, or a wheel bearing, or a hub that maybe the bolts look a little oblong and that kind of stuff. He knows all that, and I used to have to do that. I don't do it anymore. He does.
That's awesome. Well, that guy, I guess, kind of goes back a little bit to what I was going to ask in the next question was, how do you guys manage, you're still a nurse, right? And you have to still do all of these things on a daily basis. And you still support the racing program with all your sponsors. You still have, the time that you have to sleep is probably like nothing, huh?
Not much. And during race time, when it's race time, none of us are sleeping at all. So we usually end up at the races tired, but it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what's like a normal day for you then? Usually you let the boys kind of do the work on the car and...
Yeah, my job now, I used to with the 800, it was my job to tear the car all the way down. I pull all the suspension parts off, take it all the way down to the chassis, with the motor and wiring stuff intact. And Eric would look over the car and see what needed to be welded or fixed or whatever. And then I had to clean all the suspension parts, change out all the bushings, and put it all back together. great thing to know because if you break something, you can fix it. But as Trevor got older, he started taking over those duties, and our car got bigger and the parts got bigger, and it was a lot easier for him to do it. So my job now is I get to clean CVs, and I do the tire balls and all the tire mounting, all the bead locks. I get all that part ready, as well as trying to get all the social media done prior to racing. You know, it's a big deal to put on a big show before you get there and tell a great story afterwards. So I have to do all that as well. So I get up at 5:30 in the morning and I go to work. And as soon as I get off, I'm at the shop, and I may get home at 10 or 11 o'clock. They're still there, but I got to sleep a little bit to go back to work.
Yeah, that's crazy. And don't forget, you're still taking care of people too. So
yeah, I do that a lot. And then I have to take care of them. I have to make sure they're fed while they're at the shop and at the racetrack. So I don't always have a camp mom either. So I got to make sure there's food in the trailer for them and drinks, and make sure that they're going to be cared for while I'm not there to help them.
all right, so I know because I was the track mom too when I had to take care of my dad and all the Brian and all the people at the track. I always made a bunch of turkey sandwiches, and those guys liked them with like Italian dressing and stuff on them. What's the favorite for your crew?
Lunchables.
Lunchables.
They love Lunchables.
Nice.
The pizza ones or the turkey ones or the ham ones?
All of them.
It doesn't matter. Whatever's in the cooler.
That's pretty efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
It's prefabbed. It's ready to go. I love it.
That is really cool. And the plus is less work for Lacrecia, too.
That's what I'm
She can
saying.
just get out there and do it.
Right.
Full prefab. She can do all the other stuff that's hard to do.
So on a normal race weekend, then you guys head out pretty early, and or do you guys in the shop a lot before the race weekend? Because you guys don't have to just do yours, right? You do a little bit of race prep and fabrication for other people.
Yeah, we do a couple of other people, and whoever asks us, whoever's in the neighborhood and comes by, we always help everybody, and we always put ourselves last. So usually we're still working on the car last minute. With that 2-seat NA car, though, he built it so well, I guess, that we had a lot more time to be early. So we did the Mint 400 parade several times and got to hang out a little bit. And then as the cars got bigger and things got faster, seems like time got shorter, and we're not early anymore. This year at the Mint, we actually missed Tech and Contingency altogether. We made it to Vegas in time to get my helmet wired and head out to the track. I had to find someone to tech the car, and
holy smokes,
I had to get pit passes and wristbands for everyone. I'm hunting down, part of the Mint team to do that, and so we were very last minute this time, but it all worked out.
How crazy was those few days before that, Trevor?
It was gnarly. Me, my dad, my buddy Travis were at the shop every day until at least midnight or later. There was lots of beer drinking involved, but we got it done, and I'm proud to say that that car didn't have a single issue mechanically. We had one belt failure, and that was it.
Dude, that is awesome. Well, kudos to you guys for busting ass and getting that thing done, man. That's sweet.
And that car probably had 2 miles on it when it went to the start line. There was no test time. So we put it together and it raced.
That is super, super cool, man. Caden Danbury said that he wanted to see the new car too. So we'll have to, you'll have to post some pictures, or we can remind Caden of what it looks like too. That is, like, to me, when I hear stories like that, like, that's almost impossible for that to happen. Like, it's like most of the time when people bring a car to the track like that, there's something that happens that race. Like, it's like almost non-existent.
Yeah, these guys have obviously done their homework over the years so hard, though, that I could just see them like up all night doing that. We're going to beef this up here and we're going to use that here. And that's so awesome that then the race is really the testament to all that hard work and basically your life that you've been putting in this thing. I'm sure that's why, again, business is so successful.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot that people can see our dedication for one, and how meticulous we are with our race prep. And, this new car and that 2-seat NA car were two that we built in a very short amount of time that we've had tremendous success. This new car is kind of an intermittent car. We're not sure what's going to happen because Eric and Trevor can't fit in there. It's tiny.
Oh, really?
So we're either going to have to top half it so everyone can fit, or because I want them to be able to race too. We're a family. We do it all together.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question is like, where does Trevor and Eric kind of fit in the program, like going forward? Because I know that you obviously want to have them race too, but sponsor obligations and all those things are taken into consideration when you figure all this stuff out.
Right. And that's part of it too. Like, when we ask for things or, it's like, I still want to be a driver because I acquired all these people. They're counting on me to be there and be in the car, and most everybody knows Trevor is part of the team and he gets to drive. And I think they all really like it.
And he does huge
but I
wheelies.
do make him, yeah. And I make him do a lot of his own stuff. So if he wants to get a sponsor, then you have to work for it and you have to ask them and you have to talk to them about you. Like, I don't want it to just be a hand-me-down for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. How old are you now, Trevor?
I'm 18.
Good. Yeah, so you're learning a lot, and you're learning a lot at a young age. I mean, like, you've obviously already seen it and been there and done that, but when you actually have to go and talk to people yourself, it definitely changes you, right? Like, it's different than being like, oh, mom got a sponsor. It was easy, right? Now when you have to do it yourself, it's a little kick in the nuts, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely a little more difficult for sure.
Well, that's good that you have the backing from your family to be able to go out and do it, though. Are you pretty stoked that your mom's giving you the opportunity if you guys can get this car dialed in?
Yeah, I definitely want to give it a try. I've heard that it's a pretty amazing car. So I definitely want to drive it. We all know that I'm the faster driver anyway, so I definitely want to see what I can do in that thing.
He's better at doing wheelies. I'm sure your mom's done a wheelie, just maybe there wasn't a camera around, dude.
Right. I have some pretty good photos.
So
Eric said that we fight like brother and sister. That's what his input was.
So does that mean that at some point, maybe in the next 5 years, that there'll be 2 cars on the track?
It's possible. We tried to do that a little bit last year. George Felix put Trevor in his car a couple of times. Running 2 cars is really hard.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have a lot of help. So that was really, really difficult. So we kind of backed off. We were going to build 2 complete cars and have Trevor have his own. And we just stepped back a little bit and decided we would share 1 car because it's really a lot of work, especially for Eric.
Yeah, well, not only that,
crew consists of like 5 people, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember at the races too, but like getting the cars ready is easier than the actual like flip flop and like all the things that you have to do during the race because you really need, like, in that case, if you're going to maintain 2 cars, you really need 4 trucks or whatever it is to be able to do
the
it.
Logistics there are crazy.
So if one of them has a problem, then the other one is either going to be kept up with or one of them's going to get left behind. So yeah, that I feel you on that. That would be cool though. I would like to see you know what? Okay, let's go back to the return on the investment. Don't even qualify it as racing. Just get Trevor in a car and you in a car, even if it's a stock car, and go out and battle for like a 10-minute race.
He thinks he would win, but I have a lot more experience than he does. Seat time.
And he just crashed and landed.
He's got nothing. I'll just keep it here.
Well, so Trevor, I'm going to defend your mom on this one. You did just fall on your head on a mini bike, dude.
I did, but I've never crashed a race car.
I've crashed a lot.
She's crashed a lot. So I definitely got that on my side. I haven't ended up on my lid in a race. I almost did at the World Championship one year, but I saved it. So
right on. Well, good job, man. How do you like going out there and racing then? Do you enjoy it as much as your mom?
Yeah, I really like it. I think I want to try more of a short course Lucas style racing, but I definitely really like the desert. I think I'm really fast. I think Parker this year, I really stepped up my game on that last lap. I picked up a lot of spots, and I was pretty proud of that. I mean, me and my co-driver Travis, we really pushed hard, and it was pretty fun.
I can tell you that if you did do something different than Best in the Desert and your mom was still in Best in the Desert and you did Lucas or something, there would be a ton more opportunity for you to get sponsors because you guys are covering 2 different bases, but you're still performing in different vehicles, but they look the same. Like if you race the Polaris Turbo in the Turbo class, those are very, very competitive against the Can-Ams, and you get TV coverage too.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's
and he's really good at that kind of racing. He's way better at that kind of racing than I am. I want to go far away. Mexico's my favorite place on the planet to race.
Yeah, so that's one of the questions we're going to get into. But that would be a cool decision, though. And if you guys need a shoulder to lean on or whatever, if you guys have any questions for the Lucas stuff, I'm happy. I know that the Wellers would help you out and stuff too, but I'm happy to give any advice that I can.
Thanks.
So what is your favorite race then, since you like the Mexico stuff?
Well, in Mexico, probably the 1,000. We finished the tip to tip twice, and we finished the loop race once. It's pretty amazing. It's hard to describe. Racing tip to tip in Mexico is just the biggest adventure of your life that you're awake for 48 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy. I always think the crew portion of that is like the gnarliest. Like, I get it that the racers obviously get tired, right? But sitting in the driver's seat or like worrying about somebody the whole time and
are they going to make it?
Yeah,
are they going to get there?
Having to chase them, worrying about problems, like it's probably pretty crazy, huh, Trevor? Like being in the chase truck.
It's exhausting. When we did tip to tip and Black Betty in 2017, I think me and my dad were awake for 39 hours straight.
Holy smokes.
I actually had to manage chasing 300 miles of the race before we met up with even the rest of the crew. Me and the 3P guys chased the first few hundred miles. And even after that, like I said, we were awake for probably 39 hours straight, just trying to make sure that car made it to where it needed to go.
That's great. Did you do the whole thing Iron Woman, or did you have somebody helping?
Oh, no. We all took turns driving. Me, Eric, Josh from 3P, and Ryan. He used to race with Corey, Ryan Hare. So everyone that put in a little bit of money to help got to drive the car.
Right on.
And Trevor was only 15 at the time, running that chase crew on the San Felipe side by himself with those guys that had never been to Mexico before.
Dude, could you imagine that in a different country?
That's insane.
That is crazy.
Nice work.
Dude,
that's stressful.
The amount of experience that he already has at his young age is just bitching.
Absolutely.
That is so cool. Right on. Well, okay, so after you've won your championships and you've done all this stuff. What's your favorite race in the United States, actually? The Mint?
I think the Mint and Vegas to Reno. The Mint's my favorite event just because of all the fun stuff that goes along with the Mint. The racetrack is phenomenal. I know a lot of it by heart now, and this year we ran it backwards, so that was a little weird. But I love it, and I'm really sad that it's probably not going to be in that spot anymore.
Well, the Vegas to Reno, though, that's a pretty cool course, though, right?
Yeah, it's, that's true desert racing. You go far, far away. I love that. Doing loops is hard because you're thinking it's a mind game. That all that gnarly stuff you just went through, you got to do it again.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get to your head, especially after you just went through 125 miles of gnarly. You're going to go do it again. So at Vegas to Reno, after you get through that bad spot, you don't have, you just keep going on. So
that's a good point.
I like to do point to point better, even if it's one big loop. But I love doing point to point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, so let's get into some of the stuff that's happened recently then. So people have to live their lives, right? Well, unfortunately, you guys had a fire at your house and lost a lot of the stuff that you had worked for the past God knows how many years.
Yeah, it was really devastating. We lost a lot, including Black Betty, which, I love that car. I didn't want a new car. I loved my car. And that was really hard for me. And for the boys, both of their big Snap-on toolboxes full of tools, all of our spare parts, like pretty much the whole race program, all the spare shocks, motors, transmissions, axles, everything was in that clean side of the shop, including all our race suits and helmets.
That's just nuts, man. And you guys told me the whole story on what happened and everything like that. And Casey can actually attest to this too, because and thank you for telling me, because I have all of my RC car batteries in a metal bin now, and unfortunately, that's what a LiPo battery caused the whole fire. So. Casey's actually heard stories like that before too, because he's a professional RC car driver and he's just seen it too much happen.
I had one in my garage, in fact, and I caught it just in time.
Yeah,
it was insane how hot those things burn. And we've all heard the stories, but I would say in your in your guys' instance, you probably wouldn't even think about it because that was probably a battery for the controls of the car, right?
No, it was for an RC car.
Oh, it was for RC car? Okay.
Yeah.
So us in the RC industry, we've all heard it, and the plane guys all say it, but as long as you're doing whatever, but it happens. It's crazy.
It happens. And, Trevor's really a responsible kid.
Sure.
And he's had RC cars his whole life.
Right.
They were LiPo batteries. They were
Right.
in the fireproof bag. So they
Right.
said they were fireproof. And we just came in for dinner. Normally he doesn't leave them unattended for very long. We just came in for dinner, and next thing you know, the garage is gone.
Yeah,
So
it's
crazy.
crazy though. And then one of the things that I was gonna try to bring up was like I got in an accident last year and had to that's my pandemic, right? Like I was quarantined and stuff, and now they're going through their own issues. You know what I mean? Like life doesn't stop for racing. Like racing stops for life. So they're going through all this stuff and they're having to rebuild and they're going through all these things. But one of the best things is I always try to take a positive from every situation, right? Is that now you realize how much of an impact you've made on all the people around you to be able to come back and support you, give you a hug, help you with parts, give you tools, like all of this stuff. Even Polaris stepped in. I mean, it's just fantastic to see everybody come together.
It was absolutely incredible. And the girls from my work are the ones that started the GoFundMe account. And 95% of the contributions from that account were from the off-road community. It's absolutely outstanding how much they supported us. And, like you say, like I kind of thought people forgot about us. I'm getting older. I'm not the fastest guy out there anymore, but we're always there. And I just, I had no idea that people still thought of us the way they do. So it really warmed my heart. And I think it made all of us a little bit more compassionate.
Yeah, exactly. And the lessons learned too. Mike Pascarella said that he no longer, like, he protects those batteries now too. The lessons learned from those stories are passed down to other people as well. So I think it's so fantastic, man. Like everybody that stepped in to help you, to help me, it's just such a cool thing. And that's the reason we started the Dirt Life show, is because the way that all of us in our dirt lives think, man, it's a huge waterfall anytime anybody thinks about it, man. The things that you've learned in motorsports growing up, the things that Trevor now knows growing up, the things that Eric knows, the relationships that you started, the relationships that Casey and I have had during, when we grew up racing dirt bikes and stuff like that. None of that it's like those things that you say, like when you graduate high school and friends go off to their job and just leave and they go to a different state or something. The off-road community doesn't work like that. You're still friends, even if you haven't seen them in 10 freaking years. But a lot of the relationships that aren't off-road or aren't dirt, they don't work like that. It's cool.
It's really cool. And the best friends that we've ever had, I think, came from the off-road community for sure. And, just makes you want to help everybody. Anytime there's ever somebody needs help, the whole off-road community chips in. Just, Mike's race family with KJ broke his back at the Mint, and outpouring of love in the first day for him is absolutely amazing. Of course, we help them as much as we can too, and we'd help them anyways. But it's just people don't understand the off-road race family. I don't know. I guess you have to be part of it.
Yeah, and that's why we started the show. We just love that dirt life, so it's neat to see that. And one of the things that I was thinking, the last show that we were talking to Shelby Anderson, I was thinking, like, the only way that I can kind of explain it to people that aren't in the off-road community is it's kind of like people in the armed forces, you know what I mean? Like, you all have that camaraderie that you deal with. Everybody's a partner. You never leave a man behind kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, as much as you can help, you always do. So, and that's one of the things that I learned from them when we went up to hang out with them in Havasu. It's neat. So I think I really do think Trevor should get a short course car. Honestly, I really do.
It's got the wheels turning.
Well, you have to tell your dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
You think we could convince Eric to build you one, man? Maybe I'll come up. Maybe I'll come up there and we'll have me start bending some pipe, and then we'll start throwing it together, and we'll just have the cage just laying there. So when he gets home, it's already done. All he has to do is put a car underneath it.
There you go. We do have a chassis, so if Trevor wants to put in the time, it's always been out there for him. If he wants to build a car, he has to come in and put in the time. And he is still a teenager, so he gets teenager-itis every now and then still. So that chassis is still sitting there. All he has to do is build on it.
That's cool. Well, stop getting teenageritis, man. Get out there and do it. Because I guarantee if you don't, you're going to be mad at yourself.
Well, the pit bike life's been taken over, so
dude, it really has. I'm telling you, it like he drove my pit bike around. I'm trying to get another pit bike. Like it really is taking over. So I feel you, dude.
We have 4 of them now.
Uh-oh, what kind?
Just since he left your house, we bought him one for his birthday in January. And then Eric got one, and then we bought me a brand new Yamaha.
Sweet.
And then Trevor traded a Polaris steering box for another one.
Oh, right on. What kind?
We got 3 KLXs and 1 TTR.
Do you have the KLX-L, the one with the clutch, or no?
No, they're all just regular 110s.
Yeah. Well, that's still cool though, man. They're probably faster because I heard the KLXs are faster than the Hondas.
They're pretty fun. I've never actually had it tapped out yet because I'm not very good. So,
are you guys going to beef up the suspension?
Yeah, I've already done shocks and forks on mine to make it taller and ride a little better, and it's pretty fun.
Oh, Mike Pascarella chimed in again, and he said that's why the veteran community is so, into off-road. And I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. I think it's a lot of the same camaraderie and stuff. And I want
really cool.
I want the mini bike community to be like that too. If we can, like me and Trevor should start this like mini bike life. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So, and here's the return on the investment for the sponsors, right? You go out and do mini bike videos so Trevor can start like building up his social following on the mini bike. Just don't crash on your head anymore, dude.
Yeah.
Well, we had a Union Graphic Company, Corbin Wells. He did wraps for all of us. So we're still repping our company and our sponsors on our mini bike. So, of course, mine's pink. Eric's is red and black, and Trevor's is blue.
Blue and white. And he did all for all my friends, too. All my friends went out and bought brand new ones. So he did all theirs. My co-driver, Travis, his girlfriend, his sister.
Dude.
They all got them all done up in Union Graphics. So
this is
thanks to Corbin for hooking us
They
up.
got a gang going here.
This is a serious mini bike life,
mini
dude.
bike gang.
Holy
I love it.
All right.
We have I think 10 of them in our little group that goes out.
Dang, man. That's pretty sweet. It sounds like I'm going to have to make a trip up there.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost as big as Ryan's group with Kyle, those guys over there, except they're a lot better at it than we are.
Do you guys have we just did a live Instagram with Ryan earlier today, and he was talking about it. They took out, because all of the like off-road parks or whatever in California are closed, so they took out a Bobcat and just built a mini bike track over at whoever's house it was. Do you guys have any tracks that you guys ride at?
We got a couple little tracks that we just my friends found out in the desert, and then our friends in Yucca where we were this weekend, they got a Bobcat and they were building a couple tracks, and they turned out pretty good. It's pretty fun.
So it
Mostly it's desert for us.
Right on. Well, it sounds like my mini bike is going to go up to Anthony Gonzalez up there in Bullhead City, Arizona. So it'll be a little closer to you. So maybe he'll come down and battle with you guys.
Yeah, you'll win because we suck at it, but it's still a lot of fun.
So yeah, Rockstar Racing Mini Moto Madness is what they're calling it now.
right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next in the Rockstar, Customz family? Like, what are you guys gonna do? Like, are you guys gonna build more cars? Are you guys gonna start racing more? Like, what's the next plans? I know that the pandemic isn't helping anybody, but you guys obviously have goals.
Yeah, it's not. We are still trying to build a car for 3P. They want an unlimited car similar to the one that we just built. But because of the fire, mine kind of got put in front of theirs. So theirs is on the back burner a little bit. But we want to try to get that finished. We got to figure out what we're going to do for us, if we just top half the car that we built or build a whole new one that everyone can fit in. The one that they built is pretty cool because we put a bigger turbo on it. We did an air-to-air intercooler instead of air-to-water. That car is so fast, it's amazing. And it's not a 4-seater, it's a stretch 2-seater.
Oh.
So it's not as long as my big car.
So that's an unlimited car?
So it's an unlimited car. We're going to put bypass shocks on it as well. We've already been talking to Justin at Shock Therapy. We just need to get it up there. That car is going to be amazing. And since we love Mexico, having something like that in Mexico is going to be really rad.
That would be super cool.
So,
what class does that fit in? Is it also the unlimited class in the score stuff?
Unlimited there. Yep, it's unlimited there as well.
That'll be pretty cool. Bypass shocks and an unlimited 2-seater in score would be insane cool, man. That would be, yeah.
That car. The car we're building for 3P is going to be bypassed all the way around, triple bypasses, coilovers all the way around, all 4 corners. It's going to be pretty insane. And as of right now, it's probably one of the coolest looking cars we've ever built so far. It's definitely going to turn out awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this thing turns out like. So, yeah. Are you guys cataloging any of the build? Like pictures, videos, and stuff like that? Because some of that, obviously after the car gets released, you could release some of those videos and stuff, but that would be so cool to see the insides and outs of it.
Right. We really should be doing that. We did take a lot of pictures, and then that car kind of got put on the back burner, but right now it's just a chassis, so we still have time to make that happen. It's a great idea, Trevor. He's really good at making videos. So, and definitely what's next for us, if they ever let us go racing again, is we really probably will focus a lot more on racing Mexico, just because we love it and it's long distance, and the cars that we're building are perfect for that. And then, Best in the Desert's always our first love, and we'll always race races like Vegas to Reno, and Parker's in our backyard. So we're not done by any means. And Trevor starts racing short course, who knows what'll happen then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you guys do need some help doing the desert stuff, my dad and I have been sitting on the couch for a while too, so with all my injuries. So I'd like to at least, I won't be like as good of a chase truck person as Trevor is, but I could learn.
Absolutely. You guys are welcome anytime. When you guys first came up, to have us see that first time we met you, you just became family. We've loved you guys ever since. So you're always welcome anytime. Come and chase with us.
My dad would probably like to have some beers, but he's going to probably stick with Pacifico, not Corona anymore. So
Corona.
Yeah. So, and we are definitely missing those tacos down there in Ensenada. So going down, have an excuse to go down there and get some would be pretty rad. So we're happy to help you guys.
Absolutely. Anytime. And, the first time I experienced Mexico was a trip that we did when we still had the Terex, and we went from Tecate to San Quintin off-road. A lot of it was the Baja 500 track. And we went with, I don't know, maybe 8 side-by-sides. Trevor was too little. He stayed home. But I was hooked on Baja after that, and I wanted to race there. I could not wait to race there. So the first time we got the opportunity, we went.
Yeah, that's bitching. And obviously you want to keep going back as well.
Yeah, even if it's just to go play.
Yeah, exactly. And some of those like pre-run trips and stuff like that look like they're so much fun. Like I would love to go down there and join some of those trips.
Yeah, sounds like it wouldn't be as.
Yeah.
You could actually enjoy it maybe a little more than the race. It seems like.
Absolutely.
You can eat way more
might get to
tacos.
sleep.
Yeah, you guys get to sleep
Yeah.
for once.
Yeah,
Right.
it's instead of having to like be prepping the cars and racing the whole time. Exactly. Well, so
Yeah.
how can everybody get a hold of you guys?
We are on Facebook as Rockstar Racing. Trevor started a shop page called Rockstar Custom Motorsports.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram as Rockstar Customz. There's a Rockstar Custom Motorsports Instagram, and then Trevor has his own. What do you call yourself?
It's Trev_924.
Is that where we're going to see all
And
this
then-
funny bike stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my Facebook accounts are open. So my phone number's there. My email address is there. Anybody that wants to get a hold of us, I'm pretty public. So feel free to reach out anytime.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, so we still have a rapid fire Q&A, and I'd like Trevor to join in on this too. So we're going to ask the questions, and maybe both of you guys can answer if that's cool.
But I gotta sneak.
Sure.
I gotta sneak something in real quick if I can. I've had this burning question because I grew up as a little guy, just like you, Trevor. My dad was a fabricator, and I grew up in the shop with him as a little guy. I learned how to weld when I was 5 or 6 or something. And there's 2 things that we always had this funny little dialect, and I'm wondering or dialogue that maybe you've had with your dad. 2 things is he would say, "Watch your eyes." Right, watch your eyes is getting ready to strike it, right, and then of course it's like, well, I can't see my own eyes, right? That was the funny little thing we had between us, and then the other thing was, "Dad, where's your hood?" And when he was tacking something up, he's hiding behind the stinger, is what he used to tell me. So I'm wondering if you can remember some of these little things in your little, growing up life.
We do the same thing. He tacks everything with no hood on. I can't even do it. I miss every time.
There's pros.
But he just closes his eyes and
Yep.
does it, and I'm like, I can't even do that.
Totally. That was my pops, and I'll never forget those things. And it's still funny as I can picture you as a little guy in the shop, and I can see myself. And those are the funny little things we used to always say to each other. So that's good. I'm glad to hear it. Quick rapid fire.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Who's
All
first?
Right. So let's let your mom answer first. All right, Trevor. So
Good idea.
and I'll go first too. So Corona or Pacifico?
Corona.
Okay, so Trevor's up second.
Yeah, Trevor's up second.
Trevor's up second. Barsha or
No, Trevor gets to answer the same question.
Oh, shoot. My bad.
I'm probably going to have to go with Corona, too.
COVID-19 instead of Corona. Just kidding.
So we were talking
Eric's
about this.
Screaming.
There is no return on investment for Corona anymore. Like they're just that business is just they're gonna have to change it to another name.
Eric is over here on the couch screaming for Pacifico. So
all right, I'm giving Eric a virtual high five right now because I'm going Pacifico too.
So this is for both of them?
Yeah. So we would do both each question.
Okay. So Barsha or Webb?
Say that again.
Barsha or Webb?
Yep. Justin Barsha or Cooper
I don't
Webb.
even know what that is.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to probably say Barsha.
You're going Barsha. All right. So
I don't know
who's your favorite dirt bike rider, Lacrecia?
Oh, what's the guy with the lightning bolt?
The lightning bolt.
Bob
What's
Hanna.
his name?
Bob Hanna.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, she's bringing it back
You
way
have a
old
favorite
school.
motocross racer and not know their name.
She's bringing it way old school. I love it. That's
And,
great.
Dude, that's cool.
The Hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him when I worked at a Honda shop. And Chicken Matasevich, he rode for Suzuki at that same time when I was 20-something years old.
Dang, that's cool, man.
Yep. That's awesome.
I always love seeing those. Like growing up, those were my battles. Chicken Matasevich and Damon Bradshaw. Yeah,
Yep.
those are so cool. All right, so favorite food.
Anything with pasta.
Mac and cheese all day long. I can live off that.
Eric trying to yeah, me
Eric.
too, dude. Eric, it sounds like Eric and I are going to dinner. We're gonna have Pacificos and tacos, dude.
I think so.
Oh yeah, John said the Hurricane Bob Hanna.
So awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one brought me back. I had to laugh. Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
Little Smokies for
Little
sure.
Smokies.
Yeah, you're going Little Smokies. All right, I'll just go pizza rolls. What are you going with, Case?
Man, Little Smokies, because I'm going way back. A little kid, I remember having
Yeah,
those with
me
my
too.
grandpa. Yeah.
What did Eric say? Is he going Little Smokies too?
He said we finally got one right.
Sweet. Okay, this one's gonna be a good one. Uggs or Crocs?
Oh, she's a nurse.
Yep.
Uggs.
You're all going Uggs?
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Dude,
'cause
I
you're
thought
a nurse.
Lacrecia was going Crocs. I really did.
I wear a Croc type of shoe at work, but not actually Crocs.
Okay.
They're called clogs with a K.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So, all right.
But I love my Uggs.
So
okay.
I think we heard this one, but I want to hear it again.
Well, we got it. This is for Trevor too, though.
Exactly. Okay, so most memorable race. Pit bike race?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to either go with the Mint when I put on a show for the camera with Chuck from Pro Eagle as my co-driver,
For the ladies.
Yeah.
or Vegas to Reno just this last year. Me and my dad did a couple 100 miles. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that Vegas to Reno race, honestly, like when you get up towards the north part, like it just looks so fun.
Yeah, we did from 300 to 450 or something like that. So it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's my favorite race for them because they actually rode together. They've never done that before. It was really pretty cool. I'd have to say my favorite is probably the Mint 400. I won it 2 years in a row in my 800. And then when I was racing Unlimited, I won it again.
Dang, dude.
That's awesome.
Ripping. Okay, favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
You going chocolate? He's going sherbet.
Eric says rainbow sherbet.
Rainbow.
Yep.
Nice.
Double rainbow all the way.
Ski or snowboard?
Ski.
Snowboard.
Dang,
Yeah.
these are pretty polarizing questions,
I know.
actually. Nice.
I redid some of them.
You did.
I'm going snowboard too, but I'm doing because I've actually never skied before ever. Have you?
No.
Have you snowboarded? Oh,
I always stayed away because of the knees.
I've only snowboarded once.
Did you like
I
it
tried
though?
it once with Eric because he was a snowboarder, and I spent the day doing somersaults down the hill, and I finally got where I could do it. But I'm like, you know what? I already know how to ski. Can I just go get my skis and be done with this? So
I can honestly say that I didn't crash one time when I snowboarded. I didn't crash one time. I wasn't going very fast, but I didn't crash at all.
He's never had it on the lid. We heard that already.
Okay, so then there's a follow-up question to that. Then, if Eric snowboards and you ski, who's faster? Who can get down the hill the quickest?
probably Eric. Faster down the hill on your snowboard versus my skis.
Okay, so the next question is dogs or cats?
Cats.
Dogs.
Going dogs.
They're waiting for you.
All right. Dogs too. Eric's going dogs. All right, Case.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Netflix.
Or YouTube. Netflix.
Family of Netflix right there. Yeah, nice. Unanimous. I'm going YouTube though. All right, Case. Here's one of the most important questions. Go for it.
Burrito or taco?
Taco.
Tacos.
Yeah, we already know what Eric's.
Another unanimous. I think we got 5 here now.
So okay.
Yeah, we got another one right.
This one will be actually this one's good for Lacrecia too. Supercross or motocross?
I like outdoor motocross better.
I'm gonna have to do outdoors too. I do like Supercross, but I think outdoors cooler.
Yeah, what's
Eric
the reason?
says outdoors.
He's going outdoors too. What's the reason you guys like outdoors better? And I think I already know the answer to this.
We do too.
Because it's outdoors.
Yeah,
it's big. It's bigger. I think it's more rider. Like Supercross is all just giant jumps, and I don't know. Outdoor is more actually riding.
So here's where I was going to reverse engineer the question then. So first of all, I do agree with the whole outdoor thing. I love it because I was like outdoors, like dirt bike riding and stuff.
Yep.
However, I've never been a good desert racer, and I like short course. So that brings me back to the question, like why Trevor answered with motocross instead of Supercross.
I thought he was going Supercross.
I thought he was going
reason.
Supercross too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably because there's more flat spots in outdoors, and I'm not a very good jumper, as I described before. So
that's right.
You're doing laps in minutes, not seconds.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're doing laps in minutes, not seconds.
So his helmet actually is the epitome of the skid lid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I love it. We've all been there.
Next question, Case.
What other form of racing would you like to try? Anything. It's open.
I really want to race a one car.
I would like to do like crash up derby or figure 8 racing.
Whoa.
Something really redneck.
That would be crazy.
With the trailer, right? You got to do the figure 8 with the trailer.
Do they have the school bus one with a trailer, like both of them?
That would be
you
crazy.
know what? I saw on Instagram the other day people racing old motorhomes. I would totally do that. That looks like so much fun.
We have one.
But leave all the dishes in there?
Yeah, you got to leave the dishes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. Yeah, we always have that, and I always try to see if I can get people to answer in a similar fashion because like that's such a fun answer. And I always suggest like monster trucks or something, but everybody always picks like F1 or NASCAR or something like super, super expensive. All right, the most important question of the whole night. This is it's a profile question. It's a taste question. I mean, it has so much behind it. Chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
Oh, chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup? Eric says chips.
Me and Eric just became
I'm gonna
best
have to
friends.
go with chips too, but I'm gonna have to substitute guacamole for salsa.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
Why you don't do good
chips
with
and
avocado?
guacamole.
Is that legal? All right, so since me and Eric became best friends, if he's ever in the doghouse, just send him down here to Southern Arizona. We can hang out.
You got it.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before we sign off here?
I just want to say thank you to you guys and to everybody watching and the whole entire off-road community and our family and friends for helping us so much in our time of need. And for all of our sponsors and fans and family that have been with us on this ride since day one. I mean, I got some of the same sponsors all those years is pretty amazing. And we are very, very thankful and grateful for the support that we have.
I would definitely agree with that statement. And, one of the first things that came up in the live Instagram feed that Ryan Edwards and I did today with KMC was, I know that Lacrecia's coming on your show. She was one of the first ITP drivers, which was a tire company that we started working with. And you're still with them, aren't you?
Yep, I'm still with them. Even though Ryan's not there anymore, I'm still with them. I still love the tires, and they're so good to me that it would be hard for someone else to compete with that.
Yeah, and Ryan hated us, by the way, because we had to have new tires every race.
He's like, gosh, dang, you guys are taking up all my budget. Well, Caden Danbury said a great interview by the Beurrier family. So thank you guys very much for joining us. You guys
thanks, Caden.
You guys are awesome. We definitely love you guys, and thank you guys for taking the time with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
We're holding him to it. He's bringing his bike out here.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't come down. This whole COVID thing ruined it all. We would have loved to spend the weekend with you. But as soon as they let us, we're hanging out. Eric said you have to bring your pit bike up. It's on. We're racing.
Yeah, sounds good. I would love to do that. It'll be cool. But I'm going to have to upgrade my pit bike, though, because I need the fuel-injected one if I'm going to compete with Skidlet over here. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks guys.
Bye, guys. We'll see you guys later. So, man, that was such a good interview. I love hearing, like, the family environment.
That's
you know
what
I
mean?
mean?
Yep.
Like, it starts getting, you guys, you have the shop talk and you have all these things. And we obviously learned about their fantastic life that Lacrecia has created for not only Trevor, but for themselves. And it's amazing to see. But when you can start having fun in those conversations and just like enjoying each other, it makes a big, big difference. And they do that all the time. They're in the shop talking about it and just having fun, man.
Yeah, so cool that it's obviously such a family affair. There's no faking. That was all real and very genuine. So
100%.
Super cool to see the whole family, chasing after the same dreams and having the same passions all together. That's so cool to be able to share that.
Do you have any older memories of like when you were, let's just say around 15 years old or in your teenage years of being put in a position that was that crucial like Trevor did when he was doing the chase truck and the Baja? Because that's like almost the number one position. Like you have to be on point. Do you have any memories of that?
That's pretty awesome. It's nowhere near on the level, but working at Donnie's shop, and prepping some of those bikes for those guys that Todd and those Scott Davis and
some of the real big racers,
going out John Herder, and they would bring their bikes in there because they trusted Donnie and the mechanics, and I got to do a little bit of that too. So definitely a teeny bit, but nothing to that level. But definitely took it serious, and I don't even think I have any experiences like that, like because we were usually focused on me. But the cool part about that is that to be 15 years old and have that much pressure and not crack under the pressure and be able to sustain a full team like on your shoulders is, like you said, imagine, first of all, you're in a different country.
Yeah.
And now he's obviously showing leadership skills because he's corralling, he's keeping everybody together.
Yep.
Herding the cats, as they say, and in a hostile environment.
Yeah.
Especially a desert race. That's like a battleground, a war zone just about.
Dude, 100%. And you got to remember that all that stuff, the reason I brought this up is all that stuff comes from mom and dad and from the lineage that, Lacrecia's father passed on to her and the brothers and sisters in that family. And it just really showcases the whole dirt life. I mean, it's 3 generations of dirt life.
Yep.
going all the way down, and look at what kind of man Trevor's becoming. Like, it is so awesome.
Absolutely. And the trust that they obviously have in him. So not only did he perform, but they put him on a stage too.
Yep.
They trusted him. You know what I mean? Like that says so much. So
it really does.
Hats off for sure.
And that's the epitome of the dirt life, man. I couldn't believe it, man. It's so cool to hear that. Well, thank you very much to all of the Beurrier family for joining us. We really appreciate it. On next week's show, we have Chris Hawks from Benchmark Performance. He's going to come on. Chris is a really cool guy, too. He builds a lot of the performance packages for Lucas racers, for desert racers, for works racers, and he's in Southern California. He's got a pretty cool story. He grew up doing motorsports, too, so it's going to be cool to hear his dirt life. We want to obviously thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. You guys are amazing. You guys are our lifeblood. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate everybody chiming in, giving such amazing comments to the Beurrier family. And, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Shock Therapy. Thank you to Zollinger Racing Products, Rugged Radios, Solder Weld, and our new sponsor that's going to be helping a lot with the show is KMC. KMC Wheels. We're going to start giving away some hats and some apparel and stuff like that. And we're just going to have a good time with those guys, too. Ryan over there at KMC is just an awesome dude, so we can't wait to start working with those guys. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at any of those people's websites and save a whole bunch of cash. Now that you're in quarantine, those guys are still shipping out orders. They're still wanting your business because they're needing it in these rough times. So go over there and support all of them. Support them because they support us. They love you as much as you love them. So spend your money with the people that you care about. Thank you very much, Case, for taking the time out of your day to come over, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good time as always. Thanks to Brett and Caden also calling in.
Yep. We love those guys. Particularly Brett for me. And then obviously Caden, he's a good addition to the show. I think if I had my druthers, I think we should get him on more often.
Agreed. Can I come back up for just a second?
Yeah.
Can I talk about that the thing you gave Brett? Or do you
really
want to?
Yeah, go for it.
Dude, that thing was the coolest.
So let's take a step back real quick. So we had a little. You guys should check it out on social media too.
Yes, definitely.
So on my personal social media is at George Hamill, but maybe I'll try to post some on the Dirt Life one. But Brett Carpenter saved my life, and we made him a little memento, like a statue of
so cool.
Two metal guys, one that was lifting another person off the ground. So you guys should definitely check that out.
It was so cool to see you walk through not the build of it, but what it was, because it's hard to see it all. I mean, I got to see the little details, but man, there was so much thought put into that, and I could tell that Brett was touched by that. That was awesome.
It goes back to all the camaraderie.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Adam Holman was the one that made that, and Adam is a friend of my dad's now because he does things, and my dad helps him. It's one of those things like with the Dirt Life, when you start doing these things for other people, they just bond with you, you know. It's so cool, and I was happy to give that to him. He's a fantastic individual, and he deserves way more than that. So it was my little memento to that. So thank you very much for Brett Carpenter, and I'm glad that we were able to give him that. So I would like to see if we could get Caden Danbury on a little bit more often. It'd be kind of neat because we could see if we could follow his journey. Maybe we'll talk with him every now and then. So,
absolutely.
Especially with the stuff that he's doing now, and he's trying to get a little bit more return on the investment for his sponsors. Maybe we can help out with that.
Yep.
So thank you, Caden. Thank you, Brett Carpenter. Thank you, Lacrecia. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We will see you guys with Chris Hawks next week. We love you. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.